This podcast is brought to you by the Arte Media Pantheon. Please head to artemedia.org to see all kinds of podcasts from our great friends. And if you'd like to start your own podcast, they can provide you with the tools and resources to do so there. So please head to artemedia.org. That's ARETE media.org. On with the show, Jordan.
Well, I guess I am here, so sure.
Jordan
Why not?
is here. So, everybody, welcome to the Spur of the Moment podcast. I am, as always, is and will be forever into the future. I'm your host, Justin Spurr, and I'm joined by always as the man who is incomparable. It's Jordan, everybody. He's here and he's incomparable as always. He's incomparably always as he ought to be, as he is known to often be. He is also here. Jordan's here. How is Jordan?
Jordan is.
Jordan is. And on today's show, there's a Jesus horror movie. And Nicolas Cage is in it.
It's called the Passion of the Christ.
There's Clayface news, Violent Night 2 news. We're going to talk about that new Star Wars movie with Ryan Gosling. Transformers, who might come back. Rocky biopic, and there's just a ton more news to talk about today. And then later, as the title suggests, you saw the title, we picked letters. We picked movies that begun with those letters. And some of those movies are uncomfortable. But that's later.
I don't think any of mine are uncomfortable. Why do you keep picking uncomfortable movies?
They weren't uncomfortable when I was a child, but now that we'll get into it later.
It's become kind of a thing with you. You seem to enjoy picking movies that are uncomfortable.
No, I don't pick them because they're uncomfortable. I pick them because they were beloved childhood memories, and now they're uncomfortable.
Oh, I get it.
Because it has Bill Cosby in it. Anyway, but I thought today, Jordan, we'd start off reading some comments from people who have left comments on our videos. And I'm going to do it awkwardly because YouTube doesn't have a good system for reading comments succinctly. Bear with me as I pull up the one that interested me the most. You know what? We're going to leave that one for last. Number one comment on the video short about Lord of the Rings and the fact that Gandalf and Bilbo is coming back. Not Bilbo, Frodo. I wrote Bilbo. I meant Frodo.
Frodo.
He said, the comment said that the movie is set before Lord of the Rings when Gandalf suspects that Gollum has the ring and he sends Aragorn after Gollum. So then I asked, well, then how does Frodo fit into it then? And I got no response.
I mean, maybe they'll have the framing device.
I will not Google it.
Maybe they'll have the framing device of like old Frodo is being told the story by someone who was there.
Maybe. But doesn't Frodo die at the end of the Lord of the Rings?
He goes off to the Elven lands, so
Isn't
maybe
didn't
Aragorn go with them?
I don't think.
I don't know. It's been years since I've watched it.
I watched them like one time.
Or maybe Gandalf went with them and he was part of the story and he knows. I don't know. Who knows? Who cares?
My favorite. I think I used the moon theme for this video, but it was one of our shorts about how being rich rots your brain, and
it's true. It does.
And we got a comment from 2 subscribers, which is pretty neat. They're actual subscribers, public subscribers on the channel. It was really neat. But the one person he put that the Fucktails music is on point, which I mean I don't disagree that the DuckTales theme song fucks, but like it was the moon theme, and I think it was like a slow version of the moon theme. So I'm not saying that doesn't also fuck. It's not specifically the DuckTales theme. But then it was really funny because he must have deleted it, but at one point he put a follow-up comment correcting what he put, and then he ended up putting Fucktails anyway. And you know what? We're gonna call it. I'm good with Fucktails.
It's Fucktails.
It's Fucktails. And,
the DuckTales theme is known as the DuckTales theme. The Moon theme is known as the Fucktails song.
Right. I mean, it does fuck. I mean, it fucks.
It fucks. It fucks hard.
It does fuck hard. Oh yeah, on our Terrifier, the guy from Terrifier should be Joker. Someone said that Terrifier is a crap franchise with crap actors. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's not a crap franchise. That is debatable. He is not a crap actor. For what he is doing in that movie, which is to be a psychotic mime, he's doing a pretty bang up job. And his Joker voice is just really solid, and it's what that character needs right now. Less gross, disgusting Joker, and less Heath Ledger, more Mark Hamill. That's what we need.
And they did suggest who they would choose instead. I don't actually know who that actor is, so it didn't
Jack
really...
Quaid is Huey on The Boys. He is, I believe Dennis Quaid's son, or maybe Randy Quaid's son. But yeah, he's on The Boys, and he's also he's in stuff you've seen. That's just the one that sticks out. But no, I'd have to see it, and I'd have to be convinced. Sight unseen, I've seen David Howard Thornton. I think people are just associating him with Art the Clown, and he is a diverse actor who deserves a chance.
Hashtag respect.
Oh yes, and then the final comment. There's 2 comments actually, but the last one sort of leads into our first news story. But one person left a comment on our basically being like, "Isn't Dead by Daylight kind of the definitive version of that isometric horror video game?" And I'm gonna read the entire comment, so just bear with me, it's long. But from Super Fit Bros, big Dead by Daylight fan here. It's in a pretty bad state at the moment, but regardless of that, we get into it for the vast amount of horror characters, but we stay for the competitive nature. It's rewarding to earn 4 kills or to escape from a good killer, which, hey, fair enough. To be fair, it's not that I don't like isomorphic horror games. I mean, we said in that last episode that we like those games. Dead by Daylight, very fun game. That's not really quite the same thing, but it's sort of similar. They're fun to play. Whether, like, if you get a good group of friends together, they're fun to play. Anyway, continuing on. Most Dead by Daylight games have come out in recent years have about a 1-year lifespan due to developers making poor choices. I have been playing these games for a long time now, and it may be an unpopular opinion, but Friday the 13th game was by far the closest thing we've ever gotten to a Dead by Daylight alternative or competitor. If it wasn't for reasons out of the developer's control, we would have had a few more years of great support for sure. It was the best Asylum horror casual experience, with just enough depth that made it fun for those who could express skill without punishing those who were there to have fun. Best party Asylum horror game of all time. Maybe even better than Dead by Daylight in many ways, which... interesting. I didn't play that game a ton, mostly because it didn't have great online support, and it was always like, yeah, everyone wants to be Jason, no one wants to be the survivor, so you never get to be Jason. And it was like, I don't really want to be the survivors, I want to be Jason. But as someone who is like into a big thing and was like, I was really into World of Warcraft, so I was always like, oh, what's gonna kill World of Warcraft, and nothing ever did. Not really, anyway. So, like, yeah, it's interesting to be. To me, no. Yeah, Dead by Daylight is the definitive version of that kind of game. So it's interesting to hear. Oh, what is a good alternative? I would not have guessed Friday the 13th. I would have figured Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because I hear that game's way more refined. But and so the final comment was whether or not this is a podcast with someone from the same version of you from an alternate universe. And to that, Jordan, that leads greatly into the final comment that we got, which was about the Halloween game, which apparently we were mistaken. There is in fact a single player mode and a story mode. So I figured, I pulled up an article which had all of the features in the new game and what they said about it and how it's different from... So all of those isomorphic horror games are all made by the same developer. They're all made by the same company, which is why they're all more or less the same game.
That makes sense.
This Halloween one is saying that it's going to be different. That it's going to be... That they will, in fact... There is going to be a single-player mode where you get to play as Michael Myers, which is sweet. That makes that infinitely more interesting. I mean, I'm still gonna wait and see, but that definitely, if it's like I get to wander around, like I would love I mean, I know they're making a James Bond game, but by like the people who make the Hitman games, where you get to like wander around a neighborhood, it's got kind of a free roam kind of.
Yeah, I mean, well, I've said for years I want basically a horror movie version of that Naughty Bear game.
Yeah, no,
where you go around and you are the psychopath who is, which I know makes me sound insane, but like, yeah, I want the Friday the 13th version of that game.
interesting. So so the Game Informer um, interviewed the people who make those games, and he says that they are aware that whenever they announce games that are based on IPs like Halloween, fans get really bummed out when they learn it's an asymmetric multiplayer game, which I think is funny. They know it bums us out, and they want to include a single player campaign. Um,
I mean, that's where I've said for a while, do both. Like
yeah,
have it where you take a little bit longer to make the game and you include, even if it's just a bare bones single player game, doesn't have to be like super complex or anything, but like something for those of us who don't want to do the multiplayer.
it says you'll
Because
play.
I've never been, I've tried Dead by Daylight and I'm not a big multiplayer game
No, without
fan
a story to
generally
motivate me
because
to play, I'm down for multiplayer after I've played a good single player campaign, and I'm like, I want to do more of this. Then I'm into multiplayer. But
yeah,
to me,
sometimes.
the single player, especially if it's got a robust multiplayer experience, it should be there to teach you how to play the game. That's what a
Yeah.
good story mode should do. It should put you up against reasonably competent to how well you like. Yeah, you should be able to increase in difficulty where you work your way up to expert mode, and then once you do that, then you can go online and play people. Like, it trains you, it
Yeah.
makes you good at it.
Then you can go online and get your ass handed to
Right,
you
yeah,
by the
it
people
feels
that have
way
been
less
playing it
like
for
you're
years.
exactly like it feels way less like you're bashing your brain against a wall. So about this game, so they said you play through the events of the first Halloween movie and a little afterwards to learn more never before seen story about that night and acquire different abilities and perform different kills on the city and citizens of Haddonfield in this campaign. It trains you to be the optimal Michael Myers for multiplayer. That's how it should be. My question is, how are they going to include are they going to include an alternate single player campaign where you do, if you want the option, to play as one of the people? Because apparently what makes this different, which is interesting to me, is as the victims, you will have other and I don't know if this is going to translate into that story mode, but in terms of the actual gameplay, apparently you will be able to do more, and that's what's funny, because we said last week, oh, that's the point of these kind of games, but you will be able to fight back. It'll be about more than just escaping, apparently, and you can develop heroes or whatever, and I'm like, that's interesting. But yeah, it makes me wonder, are they going to have an alternate story mode, or is it just going to be you just play as Michael Myers? Because yeah, then it's going to become, that is going to impact your multiplayer, where no one's going to want to play the townspeople. At least I wouldn't. I don't know, maybe that's just me.
I never do in those games.
No,
No.
who wants to? That's what I don't understand. Who wants to play?
I
Nobody
mean,
wants to play. You always want to play
I
as
will
Jason
say,
Voorhees. I don't want to play as the camp counselors.
I will say it would be different. It would maybe be different if I had friends playing with me. Like if I had like 4 or 5 of us playing,
Yeah, we were rotating fairly.
yeah, then that's one thing. But like if I'm going online and playing by myself, no, I don't want to go up against a killer who's just gonna kill me.
Right? Like, that's not fun. Like, I don't want to get taught. So yeah, if there's
And
more of a balance where it's like, yeah, it's kind of fun to play as the townspeople, then all right, I guess.
especially because it's a big difference of like if you go on for, and this is why I never could get into it, is this is going to make me sound sad. I never had friends to play with. So like you
No.
go on as the survivor and you're playing with 3 other people who aren't communicating or talking to you, and I have no idea what the hell I'm doing.
Right?
And it just evolves to me wandering around for a minute or two and then get instantly killed by the fucking killer.
And then you gotta wait for you to respawn. And you're like, this just isn't fun. There's no
No,
room to learn
in
how to play this game.
in Dead by Daylight, you don't once this killer kills you, you're dead. You don't
Oh,
respawn.
then you
You're
just sit
dead.
there and watch other people play. That's even worse.
Yeah. That's why I was never able, unless it's changed. But when I played it, that's what it was like.
That's even worse.
But I could see where it would be different if, like, even if you don't know the killer, if 4 of you are playing and you're all like talking on mics and communicating
Yeah, then it's
and
kinda
actually
fun.
working together, then I can see how that would be enjoyable.
Right? Like, all right, okay, that's kind of fun, I guess.
Because you're at that point you're playing the equivalent of a board game where it's the cooperative board game and you're all sitting and playing and engaging and having fun, and like that's different than just doing it solo.
Exactly.
And that's always been my thing with the multiplayer games is like I'm not playing them the way they were intended. They're intended to be played with friends as a multiplayer experience.
Right.
I'm not doing that. I'm playing it as a single player experience with other players who are better than me and making it not fun.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. Sorry.
So at that point, I'd rather play my single player games where I'm going against stupid computers who I actually have a chance against.
I have got to I have got to remember to turn off. I turned the timer on, the meeting timer, and I hate it. I need to get rid of it for next time.
Good to
Uh,
know.
so Jordan, speaking of things that make me go why, look, I think we firmly established on this show, we're not religious folk, we're not religious ilk, but even every once in a while, an idea pops up where you're like, why, why?
What? Us being not religious? Where would anyone
But
have gotten that idea?
it did give me an idea for maybe an episode in the future. Which anyway, Nicolas Cage is making a Jesus Christ horror movie called The Carpenter's Son, and it's based on the I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation, apocryphal infancy, the Gospel of Thomas. Basically, fun fact about Jesus. Oof, okay. I'm gonna do this respectfully. The fun fact about Jesus is he just kind of shows up. Like there's not like in terms of the actual story,
The mythology?
the mythology as it were. Um, he's
The
born.
if you will, to use a game theory, the lore.
Yeah. He shows up. He's born, and you know the wise man, the star, the all that the whole all that whole jazz. He's born, and then nothing, and then he reappears as a fully grown adult man at 30, like in the Bible. That's just kind of how it works. So there's no story about his childhood or about him being a teenager. There's no story about like teenage Jesus being like, "You're not my real dad." Like there's none of that.
You're not you're not my real
That I
dad.
can't take credit for that. That's a Robin Williams bit. So this movie apparently is going to be reimagined. There's a teaser trailer, but it's just really Nicolas Cage with long hair. But there's an actual description here. Okay, here we go. I needed to know more of this, so here's the description, alright? It tells the dark story of a family hiding out in Roman Egypt, known only as the boy. The son is driven to doubt by another mysterious child and rebels against his guardian, the carpenter, revealing inherent powers and a fate beyond his comprehension. As he exercises his own power, the boy and his family become the target of horrors both natural and divine. Which sounds like it's just gonna be like a spooky possessed boy movie, but he's Jesus. And like,
No. They'll never call him Jesus. They'll just imply it heavily.
yeah, well, clearly not because he's called the boy and the carpenter. Like at least
Yeah.
in the description, I don't know, maybe in the actual movie, he's gonna get a name, but it sure
No,
doesn't sound
no.
like it.
They'll call him Jesus.
How is it like they're like, yeah, it's
Hey,
a dark, yeah,
hey,
they're gonna call him Jesus,
Hey,
yeah.
Jesus.
It's a dark horror movie about Jesus, and then they go, and Nicolas Cage is in it, and he's the least weird part of that sentence.
I mean, there was already a horror movie about Jesus. It was called Passion of the Christ.
No, but see, who? Why? Who? Why? 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 Who is this for? Like Christians aren't gonna watch this. This isn't gonna make any of them happy. And like, I have no interest in this. Like, who? Like, just who is this for? Who is this making happy? This is making nobody happy. This just seems like an inherently terrible idea that I'm absolutely going to watch.
I mean, to me, it just, and maybe
Going
this
to
is
watch this movie,
offensive,
Jordan.
but to me, it just lands in the category of like all those beloved cartoon things that you're making into a horror version.
Right?
This is someone's beloved cartoon character.
Right? But like, it's a great number of people, cartoon characters, some of whom have guns and are adults.
I can't. We're gonna get ourselves in trouble.
But
We just need to move on from
it
this,
did give me an
Justin.
idea for an episode which we might do in the future because I want to talk about Jesus Christ Superstar one day. We might do an entire episode devoted to Jesus movies where we're not allowed to disparage the religion. That's going to be the challenge. We're only allowed to talk about the individual movies and not the religion surrounding them. because I think it'll be funny.
I think we're gonna have to talk about that one off air.
Because I think we have enough movies about Jesus that we could probably do it.
I feel like this is maybe an example of just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
You're not wrong,
I
but
think I think we need to talk about this off air
yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's
because that might be an impossible challenge.
I mean, we're gonna make fun of it a little bit. I just mean we're not gonna be overly disparaging. We'll be about as respectful as we have been for the past 5 to 10 minutes.
I stand by what I said.
But probably an Easter episode where we talk about Jesus, and maybe throw in some Easter Bunny stuff in there as well, because it'll be funny. It's what I do, Jordan. Jordan, we both know that in my heart, what am I, Jordan?
A troll,
I'm a big old troll, Jordan.
a dirty, disgusting, under the bridge troll.
It's just the most under of the bridges trolls. But don't worry, that's not coming for a while. But no, I want to talk about Jesus Christ Superstar because I have a bunch of like not mean things, but I have a bunch of perspective on that I think would be interesting to talk about. And I don't know, maybe I'll have you watch it as well because it got good music. Anyway, so there's set photos, Jordan, of Clayface that seemingly confirm that Robert Pattinson's not going to be in it, so it's not connected to his movies. Which, all right.
No, I mean, I thought it was already confirmed that Robert Pattinson isn't going to be in the DCU.
They keep wiffle waffling all over it. They haven't decided whether or not he is or he isn't or he is or he isn't or he isn't. Apparently, they've written it because Colin Farrell was talking about having read the script, so who knows?
I just don't see that version of Batman with that version of Superman.
I do. I absolutely do. I absolutely see them together. They're just contrasting enough that it absolutely works. Like the thing about Batman and Superman is they need to be opposite. So yeah, that is a believable. I mean, it would require I think a few changes here and there. I think what they should do. I saw someone else say this, and I tend to agree. Is to do a flash forward, be like it's like 10 years later or 5 years later even, and he now has the cloth costume and he looks like he's more comic accurate. And yeah, you absolutely could. There's a few tweaks, minimal tweaking, and you could do it. He's probably, other than maybe the Ben Affleck one, the most comic book accurate Batman we've ever had on screen.
And to be fair, it's been a while since I watched that one, and it was really bad, and I really don't want to watch it again.
I disagree.
But
I quite like
not because of him, but because of everything else that has to do with that movie.
That's what I'm saying. Minimal tweaks. I think a few minimal tweaks, and you totally could. But they're not gonna, so it's an irrelevant point. But
from what I remember, he was a really, I don't know how to more like the old director Batman.
Oh yeah. You thought he was too much like Chris Nolan.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree with that. That's why I said minimal tweaking.
I just don't see
totally minimal
that version of Batman with this version of Superman. I just don't.
I definitely do. He's got the physical presence for it. But again, it's sort of irrelevant because they want to do their own new Batman. And it's not about whether or not Robert Pattinson's going to be Batman. It's going to be who's the new Batman. And I know who I want to be Batman. I've already talked about. Oh yeah, we haven't done a reminder of the cause, which is hashtag Bat-Ackles. Bat-Ackles.
I would like to have
Bat-Ackles.
Bat-Ackles. That being said,
as for Batman, sorry, Jensen Ackles for Batman. That's our.
That being said, as time goes on, he moves into the category for me of being too old.
Well, I know what they want to do it slightly. He's in that sweet spot of like he's just old enough to do like a mid primed Batman, not like Ben Affleck. He's old Batman, and not like Robert Pattinson. He's new Batman. But a nice, soft, in the middle Batman, and that's what I want. I want a
That works
Batman
for
who's
me.
been, yeah. I want a Batman
Like
who's
if
been
if
around for a
we
while.
if
A
we
little
if we did a
while.
thing where it's like, yeah, he's like a year 5 Batman
Yes.
or
If
a year
Superman is year,
6 or
I like year 5. If Superman is year 3, I like year 5 because that's a
yeah,
nice solid like that gives them a 2 year. They can do like maybe one more Superman movie and then a Batman movie, which is kind of what they were already going for. And they're gonna do Damian Wayne Batman, so they're gonna do a similar thing. Or they're gonna do Damian Wayne Robin, and I'm pretty sure they said that.
which is why him being a little bit older works
I'm,
for
I'm,
me
I'm
because
fine with that.
it makes him work with the dad role. But I would have it be where he's already got Damien there, like they're already established. I wouldn't do it where the movie is about him discovering Damien or finding him.
I
Like I
think
would
that's
just
what
have
well,
it be
it's supposedly based off of a particular run, yeah, where he's already a thing. Like I wouldn't do like 8-year-old Damien. I'd do he's like
no.
12 years old and they've been
Like
together for a bit.
I'd have it be where he maybe found him when he was 8 years old. Like have it be where like they already established that was already a thing, and we've skipped past that, and we just now have an older Damien,
You know
just like
what?
we have just like we have an older
You know
Batman.
what, Jordan? You know what? I was gonna do that, but that just leads quite nicely into James. Everyone hates Chris Pratt, which hey man, I'm not a fan of him right now either. He said some stupid shit. Um,
What has he done this time?
something about he's his cousin is RFK. That should do enough. But if you need more, I can give you more.
Like the RFK?
Like Robert F. Kennedy, RFK. Yeah.
Like the guy who is in the healthcare.
I can't
He's
do
his
it.
he's his cousin?
I can't do it. I can't do an impression. Yeah, like I don't know if it's a distant cousin, but yeah, he's his cousin. Yeah, he got on a podcast. It was like people need to lay off of RFK. To wit, oh, I'm sorry, Jake. I know you're a fan.
No.
No, sorry, no, just no. For reasons I'm not gonna get into. No, all of the no. I know too many people who don't like him that I'm like no, who I respect too much. No.
I mean, yeah, there's just a
No.
lot of reasons why no, but no.
There were more nuance to it. There was more nuance to what he said, but that was pretty much it. So everyone pretty much, and it's so funny because like I was the guy, I was defend. I feel like Obi-Wan. I'd be like, I trusted you, but I defended you, Chris Pratt. Like I made so many videos where people were like, oh, it's too much Chris Pratt. And I was like, I don't understand what their beef with Chris Pratt. He seems like an affable, nice guy. Nah, man. Nah, he doesn't seem like an affable, nice guy. But he's friends with James Gunn. So the question is, who is he going to be in the DCU? Because obviously, James Gunn be hiring all of his friends and everything.
Booster Man.
Who?
Booster Man.
Booster Gold, you mean?
Booster Gold.
That seems really obvious, but yeah, but no. The question is he going to be Batman?
Which is why I would say that that's what it'll be, because, I mean, James Gunn is not subtle.
No.
He's many things, but he's not subtle.
They asked him if he's going to be Batman, and he says, "Is Chris Pratt going to be Batman?" He's like, "No." Basically, no. I'll spare you guessing. No. He said
No, he
said
wouldn't.
something else. Booster Gold's pretty solid though. That's a pretty solid choice. I don't know. I'm kind of Chris Pratted out. It's really funny.
I'm just when I'm thinking of what DC character I could see him in, that's just to me
It's funny.
the most obvious one.
We often, because we spend so much time when we do this show, when we talk, when we get to the second half, there's a lot of times where we run into actors who were gonna be a thing and then didn't end up being a thing. And he seems like in like 5 years' time, it's gonna be that. He's gonna be one of those where like we're gonna be talking about that time where Hollywood tried to make him a thing. Like Taylor Kitsch and John Carter is a really great example, or Sam Worthington in Avatar. He did Avatar, he did Terminator in like the same year, and Hollywood was like, "Here's a big action star. He's gonna be a thing." I think Chris Pratt, that's his fate. I think in like, yeah, again, 5 years, not even 5 years, maybe 2-3 years, like this, like people hating him is gonna get him blackballed in Hollywood, and James Gunn is only gonna be able to carry him so far, especially once the Marvel shit starts wrapping up. Oh, I forgot to mention this at the top of the show. Speaking of Marvel, D23 happened this week. I don't have any stories from that. There was some real interesting shit I saw about Toy Story 5.
I heard Conan O'Brien's gonna be in it.
Yeah, he's gonna. I heard he was gonna be. Okay, I know. Fuck it. The one thing from D23 we'll talk about. That's it for Batman. Who is he gonna be? Booster Gold. Real quick for D23. There's a bunch of shit that leaked. I saw what looked like some of the Avengers Doomsday trailer. Maybe the audio leaked. I couldn't tell if it was fake or not. But they showed the first 5 minutes of Toy Story 5.
Oh wow.
And they
They showed
revealed
a
a
lot.
ton of shit about Toy Story 5. I wasn't going to talk about it, but fuck it. I'm going to cut another story so we can talk about it. Um, uh,
I just heard that Conan O'Brien was going to be this
no,
robot.
I'm not cutting anyone. Not cutting anything. Screw it. But yeah, they showed the whole bit of it. Because remember how we were like, how is the army of
Buzz is going to come into it.
this? So the idea, I don't know if we talked about this prior, but the idea is it's going to be technology versus old school toys. So they revealed there's an additional high-tech villain, bad guy character that's going to team up with the Leap Pad. But the Buzz Lightyears are advanced Buzz Lightyear, digitally advanced Buzz Lightyears. They have a digital display on their belt, and they get stuck in play mode. And they all think they're Buzz Lightyear, which I'm not exactly sure how it's gonna work because like they are all interacting with each other. But it shows the opening scene of Toy Story 5, which is basically it's not really a big spoiler, but it shows the Buzz Lightyears all crashing, and they basically like build a thing and they get off this island that they crash land on, and that's kind of it. But the animation looks good. It looks crisp. It looks smooth. It looks beautiful. Like it's a bit. It's definitely updated. The art style is a bit updated, but that is kind of interesting.
I mean,
it's really interesting to me
style.
that I will say. Hold on, I'll let you finish there for a second. I was gonna say it's really interesting though that like, they were like, oh no, they wanted to get rid of Tim Allen for Lightyear. They didn't bring him in for Lightyear, and now they're like all of the Tim Allen.
Yeah, I would say they overcorrected.
All of the buzzes. All of the buzzes. Look at all of the buzzes.
You were upset that he wasn't the voice in the last one. He will be all of them in this one.
Look at all of the buzzes. There's so many Buzz Lightyears.
No, the animation style has never been the issue for me with these movies. It's always looked good. My issue is that it shouldn't exist. I hate that this movie exists.
I mean, yeah, but it does.
I know it does, but I hate that it does.
I mean,
just like I wasn't so much a fan that the fourth one did. As I have previously discussed.
You know what? We'll do it briefly, but this is so. They showed stuff from. There's a new Star Wars movie coming out. That's but not a couple new movies. I mean, there's the Grogu and Mandalorian, but also there's like a starfight. It's called Star Wars Starfighter, and it's Ryan Gosling as like a lone starfighter in Star Wars. I'm like, that's kind of interesting.
Okay, I mean, it'll be cool if it doesn't take place in the Skywalker saga.
It takes place.
If it does take place in the Skywalker saga, then you're gonna have at some point Mace Windu knocking down the door and taking over the show, or Darth Vader will break the door in and force choke the shit out of the guy.
But
or
I like it when Darth Vader force chokes the shit out of people. He's the one character I will always let be in stuff.
It's overplayed. It's overdone.
No. He can force choke anyone any day.
I mean, just because you want him to force choke the shit out of you, Justin,
No, I don't. No,
doesn't mean he needs to be in every Star Wars project.
I don't like to be force choked
for the next 20 years.
I like to watch him force choke other people.
Not gonna touch that one.
You probably shouldn't. Moving on. So it's funny. I'm reading these stories to determine whether or not stuff is worth cutting. And this one article is like, huge video game series and negotiations for movie from Paramount. And Jordan, I wasn't gonna make you guess what the video game was, but I'm gonna give you a massive hint and tell you that the answer is so boring that you're gonna laugh because it's just that boring.
Go on.
I mean, you gotta take a guess.
You said that I wasn't going to guess because it was so boring that I would never guess it.
No, you will guess it because it's just that boring. It's the most obvious thing you could think of. The most popular video game on the planet has not been made into a movie yet. Keeping in mind that Minecraft has already been made into a movie.
So is Mario. Um, so is Sonic.
The most
Le Legend
boring.
of Zelda.
No, they're already making that. The most boring answer you can think of. There's like 100 of them.
Pac-Man.
No, no, popular game, Jordan.
Pac-Man.
No, no, popular video game.
Skibidi Toilet.
No, no, popular video game, Jordan. Come on, you can do this.
Halo.
Close. Halo, but not space.
Call of Duty.
There you go.
Modern Warfare.
They're making a Call of Duty movie, Jordan. Who
Or
cares?
or what's
the
the other
point?
the other one? Call of Duty and what's the other one? The other one that's exactly the same because it's also military shit.
I don't know. I don't play those games.
Call
They're boring as
Call
shit.
Call of Duty. Hold on, now I gotta know.
Battlefield?
That might be what I'm thinking of it. Keep talking. Keep talking. Keep talking.
Sorry. I was just reading another article. No, yeah, no, boring. Boring as shit. Boring. Who cares? Without the ability to shoot stuff, what's the point of that game?
Yeah, Battlefield. Battlefield is the one, I think.
That's funny. Okay. Um, so Jordan, this actor, apparently I don't know if we talked about this. Michael Bay might come back and do a Transformers. I think we did. 'Cause
Yeah, I
we said-
believe we did, and
we
I
said
said
boo
boo,
and yuck,
no
right?
hiss.
We said boo, yuck, hiss. Yeah. Boo, yuck, and hiss. But to their defense, when he made those movies, it was the only time they made money. So, you know.
So, I don't care. I don't want him back.
So Jordan, this
Toss
actor,
him on his ass and never let him touch my beloved franchise again.
one of the actors from those movies was asked if he would come back and reprise his role. Which actor do you think that is, Jordan?
Shia LaBeouf or
No.
Marky Mark.
No, it's the guy who was like, you don't know his name. It was Josh Duhamel. It was the guy who one of the army guys. He's like, I would definitely come back and do another one.
Oh, the one from the first one who
Yeah.
is in charge? Okay, who
Yeah.
cares?
Right? Who cares? Here's my question though, Jordan. Would you be okay if Shia LaBeouf came back? I mean, I know technically, canonically, he's dead, but who cares? He may come bring him back. Bring back
Is
Shia
he?
LaBeouf. Yeah,
How is
technically
he?
speaking.
How?
They just say that he died.
Oh,
I can't in like the fourth or fifth one. They reveal that he died. He got
I
killed
don't
off
remember
screen.
that.
It's in like a background
Um,
detail on something.
If he
But who
came
cares?
back,
Who cares?
would I be okay that fucking loser is directing again?
No, I'm just saying he's coming back. Would you accept Shia LaBeouf coming back? Would it make it
I
work?
I would, because I didn't realize that he was supposed to be dead until you just told me that he was supposed to be dead.
Yeah,
Now
technically, yeah.
knowing that he's canonically dead, I would say you could, if that was the point. Like if the point was that like Optimus and Bumblebee were
Oh
like,
shoot! Shit, we thought you were
like,
dead.
well, more like if they were like, you're dead, you can't be here, and that's the point of the movie, is that's the mystery.
I think they should bring Michael. Here's my pitch. Okay, you know what? Hopefully this gets turned into a short. Because here's my pitch for Transformers. What is it? 7? Transformers 7. This is my pitch. Okay. Somehow Shia LaBeouf.
Either that or we reboot.
Hold on.
And we bring him back.
Somehow Shia LaBeouf is back, and all the Transformers are like, "What the shit? You're supposed to be dead." And so then somehow, yada yada yada. Long story short, they go back in time and completely erase the rest of those movies.
Okay, sure.
Just somehow, that's why Shia LaBeouf is alive. One of the Decepticons is a time-traveling Decepticon. They went back in time. In order to save the universe, Shia LaBeouf has to sacrifice his time with the Transformers. It's all very sad. And then we actually see Shia LaBeouf die.
Goes back to just after the first movie, before the second one, and erases the timeline, and then we can retcon everything and have better versions.
What they do is they go back in time. Hold on.
No.
Hold on. Okay. They go back in time, and adult like modern Shia LaBeouf, like he's superimposed into Transformers 1, and he walks up to Bernie Mac. He's like digitally imposed, and he goes, "Hey, maybe you suggest you buy that car instead," and it's just a regular car.
He goes back in time with a pistol, and he shoots young himself in the head, and then fades.
I like mine better. It's significant. No, I can't. Bernie Mac actually died. It's not cool. I was gonna say he goes back in time. He just shoots Bernie Mac in the head.
So he can't sell him the car.
So he can't sell him the car. I'm such a bad person. I'm such a bad person.
You're such a bad
I'm
person.
such a bad person.
But no, joking aside, time wise, he couldn't go back and interfere with himself in the past, because if he did, then he couldn't be there to interfere with himself in the past, and it would cause a, oh no, see, that's how you do it. He gets sent back in time and accidentally messes with it with himself in the past, and that's how you have it. It's Back to the Future but with Transformers.
I watched that.
Right?
It's the only way I'd be down for that. And then he could do as many explosions as he wants.
He finds himself at the DeLorean, and Bumblebee scans the DeLorean and becomes a transforming DeLorean who can travel back in time. And they go back in time to try and stop some shit that happened back in time, and he Back to the Futures himself.
Also, to be fair to Michael Bay, he didn't write those movies.
You shouldn't do that.
He didn't write those movies. To be fair to him, he did not write those movies, and like a lot of what makes those movies bad are the result of one writer whose name is completely escaping me at the moment. But a lot of his movies suck, and it's not exclusive to this. And a lot of the problems with those movies are the writing. So maybe if they managed to give him a halfway decent writer, then because I don't hate his flair. And I don't hate how some of those movies look, but
my response to that would be, what flair? All he adds to it is a throbbing hard-on for the military and explosions.
I mean, I would argue he's not as throbbing as
and sharp, pointy metal Transformers who look awful.
Oh yeah, it's hard to disagree with that. They do look awful. Yeah, no, that's yeah. No, I mean, he goes back in time. Yeah, he convinces Bernie Mac to not sell him the car.
So
I'm back on the hate train.
My only way of it being good would be, if it was he goes back in time and somehow interferes with himself from the first movie, and it becomes like Back to the Future, and at the end of the movie, whatever he did has changed the timeline, and it erases the rest of those movies, and you retcon. I'm not joking. I would be so like that would work for me. That's the only way it would work for me, is if Michael Bay was self-aware enough to poke fun at himself in that movie and all the things that came after.
No. I think they should have it where the Transformers come to the real world and they approach real life Michael Bay and just be like, Michael. And then as he's looking at the script for Transformers 1, and then Optimus Prime pops out like, Michael, put it down, and he holds his comically large gun in his face. Put down the script, Michael.
No. Even better. Michael Bay is at, this is so mean. Michael Bay is at like a Starbucks or something, and you see him. He's drinking his coffee and he's reading the script for Michael Bay 1, and Optimus Prime just steps on him, then lifts up his foot and he's like, ew, and scrapes his foot clean.
It's so awful. Okay. He's by all appearances a very nice man. It's really funny, Gerard. So all of these stories are funny?
This is Justin good-natured ribbing, okay? We don't mean any of it. Wink.
So, okay. So, all of these, I'm looking at stories to cut, right? And all of these are funny, so none of them are getting cut. Sorry. It's the comment response time, I think, is pushed the news to be a little longer than usual. But apparently, and I'm actually kind of interested in this. I don't know if he's actually involved in this or if he's producing it, but they've announced an actor for a Sylvester Stallone biopic movie about the making of Rocky. And I don't know if this does not say if he's producing it or if he helped like pick the guy, but he also played Al Pacino in a biopic about the making of Scarface. But like, quite honestly, that is kind of an interesting story, and it is a biopic I would absolutely watch. That does interest me. The story of Rocky is very interesting.
I enjoy a good biopic.
The question is going to be whether or not he can do the impression. Like, that movie's going to be 90% whether or not he can do the Rocky voice convincingly.
See, it's
Um,
not that it's not that hard. I can do it.
Interesting.
I gotta go fight on the moon, Adrian. You can't fight on the moon, Rocky. There's no air up
There's
there.
no air up there. Um. So okay, so this story is for my supernatural friends who love supernatural. The supernatural showrunner revealed a scrapped storyline for Supernatural that they almost did that they didn't end up doing. That I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I feel about it. It sounds okay. Here's the plot line. So initially they were going to do a storyline where Sam and Dean reveal to the world that they go public basically and reveal that monsters are real. And the reason why they didn't do it which is what they said, a horde of reasons, including a bunch of logistical ones that they couldn't figure out. That's why they canceled it. And I'm like, that hits my ear, and it sounds bad. Like I just, but also like,
Reveals to the world. I it would for me it would depend on the context. Like
yeah,
to me, the only way that that works, and I don't I can see where the logistics of it would come into play, but to me, the only way that works
kind
is if
of,
it's like in those episodes of a show where it's like, oh, I wish I had never blank,
yeah.
and then you get the episode where you see the consequences of
This would have been
what would
a
happen.
storyline, though. This would have been over several episodes. This would have been like a season long storyline by the sound of it.
Sure, but what I'm saying is like to me the way that it works is if like at the beginning of the season for whatever, and I think it works as like an early like before they do demons and angels and like when they're just doing monsters
Yes,
still.
yes,
You do it at that point and you have it where, and I think they do have an episode where they have a genie, but you have an episode where they run into a genie and one of them makes a wish where they're like, oh, I wish the world knew about it so we didn't have to be the ones who had to fight all the time.
yeah,
And then you have maybe like, I don't know if it works for a season, but you have like a couple episodes or something where you have the fallouts and them having to try, or Dean or whoever, Sam, whoever makes the wish, Bobby, whoever, and you have it where like they have to then go find the people in this alternate world and
See,
yada yada yada.
to me, the world, it works up until that you reveal that angels and God exists. Because like the conceit of the show being that it's them hunting monsters, whether or not the public knows or not, you still have the element of the monsters hiding, like a werewolf pretending not to be human or a vampire pretending to be human or what have you. It once you introduce the concept of hey, God is real, and he's a guy named Chuck, and he's a fucking prick. And there are angels, and the entire concept of the universe as you understand it through the Judeo-Christian lens is totally real. Then yeah, that would I think
But also,
they make fun
but
of.
also,
Hold on, let me finish. They make fun of that in the Scooby Doo episode where Daphne's like, "What? God is real?" Like that's
am
where
I going
that's
to
where
hell?
that's where revealing it to people becomes logistically impossible. It wouldn't work. It doesn't. You couldn't do it. But prior to that, in like season 2 or 3, sure, you could do it. It would work. But
it would then
that,
make the
it's just too
yeah
much.
it would then make the later seasons confusing, but that's where I say, like, to me the best way that you do it is you have it where it's
You know, it is like
they
one
may they
episode. It's a Wonderful Life thing.
they make
Yeah,
it
sure.
a wish, and then by the end of it they go back to the status quo.
You do it where you have it's like, I do one of those Gabriel episodes where Gabriel snaps his fingers and it's like, hey, this is. But to be fair, they did kind of do it
Or
as
the
a singular,
or the trickster.
They do kind of do it as a. Well, the trickster is Gabriel. They do it as kind of a singular
Right.
episode.
But I mean before he's Gabriel, when he's just the trickster.
When you do it. They did kind of do that where they had the episode where he went to the future and all of the virus or whatever people had kind of taken over. They kind of did it there, but it wouldn't. I understand why they didn't do it. I understand why.
I definitely do. That's where I say for me it only works under very specific circumstances.
So it's funny, just as a
Or I guess the other place where you could maybe have introduced it, and introduced the idea of it, is you could have maybe done it during the Leviathan saga,
yeah,
where you have it where like they reveal it to the world,
yeah.
and like they're the
The
but I
problem
it,
is for me is Sam and Dean have no motivation or reason to. They're never given. At least to be fair, that show's like 15 seasons long, and I've seen all of it, but I don't remember all of it. But they never motivationally have a reason to want to reveal to the world.
well
Like,
there is a
there's
point
no
where
like dual identity. They're like
there are
kinda, but not really.
there are points where Sam and Dean both try to live. Sam in particular,
Yeah, but
after Dean goes to hell,
th-
tries to live a normal life. So I could see it being a thing where like Dean goes to hell, and Sam is like, yeah, I unveiled the truth to the world, so I could I could take
that
the
wouldn't.
burden off my shoulder. But it clearly they like it doesn't work
They,
because that's why they never did it.
there's enough of a network of other hunters where there's no need on. I don't. I guess also I don't understand why they even had that thought because, but also I guess it would depend on when in the show they had that thought because yeah, there's enough of a network of other people that they don't. There's no reason for them to tell everyone. There's no reason.
Yeah,
Within
I
the
the only
universe. It
the
just
only two
complicates things.
situations in which I can see is yeah, where it's like a fleet of fancy wish that they had one of them has, and like one of the monsters twists the wish, Machiavelli, like like a Jin style, and yada yada yada.
That's not how
Um,
gins work in that universe though.
but you get what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Whatever monster you want to fill into the slot that would make it work. Um, or if it was like a situation where it was like so universally big that like they couldn't handle it, like the monsters are gonna like overthrow humanity and they need to get the governments involved. But
Yeah.
that's such a specific niche situation that I just
Yeah, once they
it'd be
introduce the
tricky.
concept of God and angels, it's not possible.
Yeah,
It's not
that's
possible to do
where
that.
that's where it becomes no. But prior to that, you could work it theoretically. Would
So
be my
so
answer to that.
it's just I was just so everyone knows. I want to do an episode of like dinosaurs eventually, and we were going to do that next week, but this popped up. This story popped up that the the
Rar,
dinosaurs.
rar, dinosaurs.
Um, but this story popped up, and this movie keeps popping up in my newsfeed, and everyone's talking about it, and I'm perplexed by it. So we're probably going to do a Netflix episode next week instead. But apparently, the the most successful Netflix movie of all time is a movie called K-pop Demon Hunters, and
I've heard of this.
I need to watch this movie. So we're probably going to do a Netflix episode next week. But it apparently, it has
I
surpassed
think
Red Notice, which I never believed anyone watched.
I think there was one that I had heard about, and I think it's that one, but it might not be that one. Where it was, I think it was in theaters for a very short time, a very small release window. But Damien Haas was in it, from Smosh.
Yeah, I don't think it's this one. I
I
know
don't know
it's
if it was
Nihon. I think
that
it's what
one.
it's called. I think it's a different movie, but I do know the one you're talking about. He's like the only English actor in it or something.
Yeah, I just remember it being weird.
Yeah, that's a really really successful Chinese movie. So I think it's the most successful movie of all time.
I'm gonna
Um,
I'm get I'm gonna look it up.
so one day I'm gonna get you to watch Cobra Kai, Jordan. But this news isn't gonna really excite you all that much, but it excites me because I really like them and I think they're really talented. But they're apparently gonna make or they're developing a reboot of the show Knight Rider.
Okay.
Knight Rider is that show with David
Well,
Hasselhoff.
I know what Knight Rider is. He's got the car,
Yeah, he's got the car. Who is Mr.
who
Feeney?
is voiced by Mr. Feeney.
Voiced by Mr.
It's the
Feeney.
it's the only reason I know about that show.
So yeah, you need if you're gonna do that, you need to get a suitably British sounding voice for the car. That's the only condition. But I'm down for that. I'm always surprised that they've never managed to make Knight Rider a modern thing. But I'm pretty stoked for that.
Niza 2.
So apparently, George,
That was the name of the movie.
because okay, see, I'm gonna do it this way. So Jordan, because Wicked was really popular, everyone's like Wizard of Oz shit, and so.
I mean, that's fair, Justin, but have you tried defying gravity?
I have not.
because nothing's gonna keep me down.
Nothing's gonna me
Bring me down.
down.
Sorry, I messed up the lyric.
But apparently, the Amazon is making a Wizard of Oz TV show, which is described as a quote contemporary music-infused YA retelling of Dorothy Gale's unexpected adventure into the magical world of Oz. It is expected to use the yellow brick road as a metaphor for the challenges and choices facing young adults today.
Um, okay.
Apparently, it's going to be Gwen Stefani and Blake Shelton are going to do the music. And
Okay.
I thought there was more to this. I heard something about this that I guess I. And Jordan, finally, The Rock has come back to the Spurr
Finally,
podcast.
you will smell what the Rock is
You
cooking.
will finally no. Finally, Jordan. Ian McGregor, he says, Jordan, you're never gonna guess this, Jordan. We have to antagonize them once again, because Ian McGregor, he wants Andor. He wants to be in Andor season 3 as Obi-Wan Kenobi. And Jordan, hold those thoughts that are in your head, because I need to look right into the camera, and be like, Ewan, Mr. McGregor, Mr. McGregor, no, 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 don't do that. No, no. That will do one of two things. That's going to either ruin your character or make that show feel weird. And already that show's tonally weird. No, don't do that. But also, do that because it'll be funny to watch the Andor fans' heads spin.
So, two things. One, I think it would be funnier if he was in that show, but he wasn't Obi-Wan.
I mean,
Like if he
obviously
was just
yes, but
if he was just a completely random character and it wasn't addressed and he just looks like Obi-Wan. Like very specifically, he looks like Obi-Wan
no,
Kenobi,
I want him to
but
be
he's not.
Obi-Wan's like random twin brother that you've never heard of. Like, he just happens
Yeah,
to look.
that comes from the planet that
Yeah,
Obi-Wan was born on.
he just happens to look like him for some reason.
and
Yeah,
and has the last name Kenobi, which would then be a fun callback to I think in the I don't remember what Star Wars thing it was in one of the
Star Wars
books or
fans are
something.
screaming. He doesn't have a twin brother. It's
But
canonically wrong.
one of the things the when people refer to Kenobi, they're like I think it's in one of the books. They're like, oh, there's like dozens of Kenobis. Like it's a really
It could be like
popular name.
his cousin or something.
So like yeah, it would just be funny. But so the other thing, and this is just a tangentially related thing, um, uh, as previously discussed, I tried to watch Andor and didn't really care for it, and so never
Would
finished with it.
Obi-Wan make you watch
But
that show?
eh,
Oh, I thought that's where you
it's
were going with this.
no, where I was going with this is what makes me question whether or not like what in particular makes me say I clearly that show is not very good or not very popular. I don't get like movie commercials very specifically of creators being like, "Hi, I'm such and such creator and I'm here promoting such and such show," pop up on my TikTok like ever. But you know which one pops up on my TikTok a lot is where like and it's very specifically labeled that they're ads is random creators being like, "Hi, I'm such and such creator and I'm here promoting season 2 of Andor. It's a really good show and you should really go and check." And I'm like, if you have to pay people to say nice things about your show, that tells me it's not a very good show.
I mean,
That's
hey,
what that whether or not it is, I can't say, but that's the vibe that I get when I see that. When you have to pay someone to say, so if I had to go and pay someone to say nice things about this podcast, and I came across that, I'd be like, well, clearly that podcast not very good. It has to buy like nice comments.
I
It has to
mean,
buy people saying good things about it.
fans of that show would tell you that it doesn't have to buy shit, but
I'm sure they would, but again, the amount of times I've seen ads like that on my TikTok, and I don't see it for any other show, just Andor, like just Andor.
Jordan, I'd be careful. The Andor fans are gonna come for you.
Oh,
Again.
they're gonna come for me anyways. They hate me.
Obi-Wan, stay away from Andor. Get go make
Don't-
another
go
bad
make-
season of. Don't try to glom on to a show that people like.
Just go make Obi-Wan season
Go
2.
make Obi-Wan season 2. Do that
or
instead.
or don't
Or
you
don't.
know you could always just not.
Or we could, I don't know. Here's an idea. Take a 10-year pause on Star Wars.
Yeah, unless you want to do something that's either long after the Skywalker
No,
saga
just
or long
hard
before.
10-year pause. Hard 10-year pause of
I
anything Star
certainly,
Wars related.
I certainly think that like
Only toys.
movies. No, do video games.
No, they've already
The video games have been doing well.
they've already stopped doing the movies. They haven't made a movie in like 10 years.
Yeah, good. Keep doing that. Stop doing the shows as well.
Stop doing the shows. Only
Cancel,
do
cancel Andor.
maybe do the occasional cartoon
Yeah, those have been fun too. And do video games.
and then do video games.
Because those are also fun. Make that game where it's like you want to have it have a good game. Make it be a game where I don't care what saga it's in, but personally I think it would be better if it was like in the High Republic era or something, not Skywalker. But you could do it in the Skywalker as well. But have it be like before the prequel series, and have it be where you're just a Jedi. You make a Jedi, and you are a Jedi, and you have your you are a
Space
Padawan.
Police.
And you go from place to place and basically make it that bounty hunter game, but you're Jedi instead.
But you're Jedi instead because that's way more fun.
And yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
That would be
that.
That would be very much fun. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just
That's it for the
do it.
news. Hey Jordan, want to see my new impression of, you know how I usually do the Donald Trump dance? You want to see my new impression of Donald Trump?
Sure.
Hey guys, I'm alive. Was
No,
that
no,
uncool?
Justin.
Was that uncool?
Justin,
That felt
Justin,
uncool.
Justin,
That felt uncool.
you do the voice.
Everybody, I'm alive. Look at me. I'm Donald Trump. We're not weekend at Bernie's being a president again. I'm Donald. News. Okay, that's enough. That was uncool. That was probably uncool. That probably offended somebody somewhere.
No. I mean,
We are offensive.
no, it was funny.
It was funny. I agree. It was funny.
That makes it okay.
That makes it okay.
So, Justin, what is this episode brought to you
This
by?
episode is brought to you by our dear friends Eric and Jake over at the Average Intelligence Podcast, because I realized, Jordan, that I hadn't been promoting the other podcasts enough. And so now, for the next few weeks, we're going to promote a different podcast on the network every single show. And we already started last week with the Party of Broadway World podcast. So this week, it's the Average Intelligence Podcast. And they're slightly more political. They talk about politics a bit more, but they're not just politics. They also talk about pop culture. They kind of just talk about whatever the heck Jake feels like, or Eric, or both, at any one time. And it's a good time. I usually hang out with them. They're a bit early. They're 3:30 our time, but that's usually on Wednesdays. It's been on Wednesdays. And I like to go hang out and to hang out in their chat. And they're a couple of fun dudes to hang out with. And
Would you say that there are a couple of fun guys
they're a couple of fun guys with some average intelligence
on a podcast?
on a podcast every week at Wednesdays. Currently 3:30 Pacific Standard Time, unless that changed. That's the time.
Which could have been.
Which it could have been.
It could have changed.
Go check them out. Their podcast is fun and funny.
Good golly.
Good couple of fellas. Go check them out. On today's show, the second half, which I realized the description doesn't have the second half of the show in there, so you guys don't know, even though you saw it in the title. Let's pick a letter based upon Jordan's idea of selecting a letter and talking about finding movies that begin with that letter, and only that letter. You're not allowed to do the, even though I was tempted several times, but you're not allowed to do the blank or the thing. It has to start with the letter. Jordan selected the letter S. I picked the letter J.
Well, technically, no, you selected the
Shut
letter
up!
S, and I picked the letter J.
Shut up.
So, I mean, if you're going to say that shit, you got to get it right. Come on, man. I mean, I know I'm incomparable and I can't be compared to, but I mean, I wouldn't have messed that up.
You've gone too far this time.
You've gone too far and you have to be
You have
stopped.
to be stopped.
So, I had the letter S, and I suppose I will start the rapid fires.
We will start with the letter S, which
This
also
letter, this
starts with S.
this episode is brought to you by the letter S and J. S and J. And the number 6.
And then number 6.
No, wait, no, sorry, I messed that up. Number 9, because we have 9 movies. So I guess the number 18?
The number 9 and 18.
The joke has gone too far. So, in 1996, there was a movie called Scream. I did not pick Scream because in the year 2000, a movie called Scary Movie came out, and that's what I picked instead. Fun name. Fun fact. Did you know that the 1996 film was codenamed Scary Movie?
I did not know that.
I didn't either until just this moment. So this was a comedy horror parody making fun of, Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer and others.
Other examples?
Other examples, which I could probably tell you, but...
Yeah, the ghost face mask predates the Scream. That was the movie that kind of made it popular. And then this one also made it popular. And the Wayans brothers produced it and directed it, I think, wrote it, and they only did the first 2. They didn't do the third one, or the fourth one, or the fifth one, or the sixth one.
Yeah. So there's the I Know What You Did Last Summer. There's Scream. There's.
I remember loving these movies when I was a kid. I have not seen them since I was a kid.
It mimics the Matrix Bullet Time.
Yup.
It's got making fun of the final scene of The Usual Suspects, and other stuff. There's a lot of stuff that it makes fun of, and it was. I mean, yeah, you know, it's a 2000 comedy parody movie, so it's very much a product of its time.
Shit ain't aged well.
I mean, it's not the worst aged thing I've ever seen.
No, God,
but,
no. Which is saying something, because it's aged pretty poorly.
But it's very... I didn't realize that it came out in 2000. I didn't realize it was quite that old. But it's just... How do I word this? It makes me feel old when I see a movie that I don't remember being that old came out 25 years ago.
That one, I mean, that one it's hard to make fun of because, it created a genre of movies that was a real sharp slope of crap. Like, they got bad. Like it's a real wide, in my opinion, it's kind of a cavern valley from Scary Movie to epic movie. Or no, disaster movie, I think was the last one. Like, disaster movie is terrible. And this one is like, this one's also bad, but it's not fair because it's the first one.
Yeah, like there's points where it's like, the jokes are a little on the nose, but that's kind of the point.
Yeah, right.
So like there's a point where where
I think the initial Scary Movie, they are way more plot focused. Like, they're way less about thing you recognize, and that's the joke. Like, disaster movie very much is like, oh, the joke is it's a girl dressed as Hannah Montana, pretending to be Hannah Montana. That's the joke. Like, this actually has a plot and jokes
a story
to it.
Yeah.
It also really doesn't like the David Arquette character for some reason.
Which one's that?
That's in this one. It's he's Dewey.
Oh, yeah.
Well, turns out to be the killer in the end.
He's the killer, and that's where it's making fun of the one scene that I said, where it's like he pulls off the wig and ditches his
doofy mustache or whatever.
Doofy personality, where he had been pretending to be special.
Yeah.
The entire movie, and I mean, I don't know what else.
Yeah,
to
really,
say
it
about
really
this.
has a beef. That character is nothing like that in the original movie.
Like, there's jokes in this where it's like, at one point the one character is like, isn't this pretty much just straight the plot from such and like this other movie? And they're like, what? No.
Yeah, I will say the Wayans brothers were way less lazy, but I mean, also I think this is where That because like it was in a Bud Light commercial, but this really was the movie that made the "What's up?"
Oh
commercial.
yeah. They did that. They did that for sure.
Yeah.
Um, and
What's
yeah, I mean,
up?
I would be lying if I said I didn't have fun with
I
this one.
think I
Is
think that
I guess where I would end
I
at.
think it does have the ghost of the guy who does the voice. I think he's in it as the voice. I'm pretty sure. If it is, they got a pretty good sounding. But yeah, it's the way they do the there's a lot of funny. Does it make you more excited for the new one? Or are you still like, how does this exist in 2025?
I wouldn't say excited necessarily. I would say it has me interested in how they do it in 2025,
Or 2026 or whatever that movie comes out?
whenever it comes out.
Guys,
Um,
that it.
and what's interesting that
Scary movie.
I'm just learning is yeah, there's this movie has characters that were in Scream in it.
Really?
Yeah, it's got so the Sheriff Burke, who I think is the dad of Anna Faris's character, Kurt Fuller, is in it. He's
That's
from
funny.
Scream.
That's hilarious.
Or Rick Ducommun is Neil Campbell in this movie. He's also from Scream.
That's hilarious.
You've got Dan Hoffray as cameraman Kenny, who is from Scream. Marissa Janet Winokur is Tina from Scream. Like, it's got a few people from Scream.
That's pretty funny. Jordan.
It also has James Vanderbeek as himself. I'm just trying to look and see if it's got the voice of if the guy who plays the Scream. I don't. Problem is
You would.
they don't list. Oh yeah, here we are. Dave Sheridan, Doofy Gilmore. He is Ghostface from Scream. He's also really.
That doesn't
Wait.
sound right. That's not the voice. That's
Oh
not the
no,
voice
based on. Sorry, never mind.
Just
Based
say it.
on.
Jordan, is that it?
That is it.
All right. So my list doesn't have really a theme. I just went down the J's and I went, ooh, all right,
Oh,
ooh.
I don't have a theme either.
So my first one is a movie called John Carter. And this
From Mars?
movie is utterly, yes, it's based on the John Carter of Mars book series, which I wanted to pull open the Wikipedia article because John Carter is fascinating. So my main thesis of this movie, so yeah, obviously, yeah, based on the John Carter of Mars books, written by Edgar Rice Burroughs, and it's one of those it's one of those movies where it felt like it was based off of like a several books because it's got a lot of really dense mythology in it. But no, it's only based on the first book. The very basic plot of it is John Carter gets teleported to Mars and he winds up marrying the princess and saving her from a rival like city, because it turns out that Mars is not a dead planet as once thought, but it actually has a bunch of people living on it, a bunch of different tribes of people, and two of the tribes who are humans are like at war, and Mars is actually not called Mars, it's called Barsoom.
Yeah, you ever seen Planet Hulk? It's just Planet Hulk.
Actually, Planet Hulk is
Or
John
Planet
Carter.
Hulk is just John
It's
Carter.
just John Carter. And so there are, and this was the most interesting thing about it, is how many books there were. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 books.
Wow.
11 books.
And one movie.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, 11, and that led me to find out how many Tarzan books there are, which blew my mind. You want to take a stab at how many Tarzan books you think there are?
Well, judging by your reaction, I'm gonna guess it's an insane amount. So, 15.
Oh, you're close. No. You're reasonably close, but higher.
18. 19? 18.
It's 26.
26. Holy shit.
26 Tarzan books. And yeah, there's 11 John Carter books. And so my main thing with this movie is, and I remember at the time because this came out in 2011, being like, this feels really derivative. Like it came out in 2011, so it was really, I remember comparing it to Avatar, and that's not fair because everything this really, there's multiple families who are in a civil war. It really reminded me of Dune in a lot of places, and I just feel like had this movie maybe come out 5 years later or 5 years sooner, it would have been way more successful because it's honestly kind of a fun movie. It's really fun. The action sequences are really fun. The characters are really fun. The only one who's not fun is Taylor Kitchener, who's a kind of cardboard. But other than that, it's honestly pretty good. And they've been trying to make it since 1930.
Wow.
They've been trying to make it since 1930. And
I remember enjoying that one. Like, I remember liking that movie.
I just remember saying it was really derivative. It was just like a nothing, and clearly it was because it didn't really catch on. I mean, it is an enduring franchise. They keep trying to make it a thing, but it's one of those, like, it impacted so many things that like the actual books influenced science fiction so thoroughly that, like, by the time an actual proper adaptation, the big thing was Edgar Rice Burroughs couldn't decide on how, or they couldn't figure out how to make it. Like, the technology just wasn't there. And one of the things that interested me was Daniel Sabara shows up, and that's where I'm like, this feels like it's two books, but apparently it's a thing from the books where he is in the movie as Edgar Rice Burroughs, the author, and so he's a character in this movie who is the nephew of John Carter, and apparently that is a thing in the original books. So the
writer self-inserted himself?
Yeah, he's a character in those books. He's the nephew of John Carter.
I mean, it's not unheard of. Lemony Snicket did it.
Yeah, but I thought that was really interesting. I was like, I figured that was a thing Disney added as like a fun wink and a nod. I didn't realize it was an actual
thing that he did.
That he did. But yeah, it drew a lot of comparisons to Avatar, and there's a lot of really solid motion capture work. So some of the creature designs are fun. Again, the action sequences are fun. It's an overall fun movie. My one thing is that some of the, you could definitely tell it felt like it was like, again, two books combined into one, or two or three books combined into one, but it's not. And it's one of those, you could tell that, like, when it comes to adapting books versus movies, it's really hard to in books, it's really easy to convey a lot of dense information about a particular group of people.
Yeah.
Like, you could just do paragraphs explaining what this terminology means, who this person is, what does this mean. So, like, there's points in that movie where they're just saying words. You know what I mean?
I do. I do know what you mean.
They're saying a bunch of terminology that's not being explained well.
Yeah, they're monologuing.
Not monologuing, but like...
Not monologuing. Where they're... What's the term where you're...
Info dumping?
Info dumping, thank you.
Expositing?
That's the word I'm looking for. They're expositioning.
Yeah, a lot of information about characters that it's much easier to do in book form, where, yeah, you could just describe what these things are, whereas in the book, he's like, oh, he's a this thing, and I'm like, I don't know what that is, or he's a that thing.
Yeah,
like, I don't know what any of these words mean.
Part of the reason why you can get away with putting like a paragraph describing what a thing is because from the book's point of view, it's like okay, let's give an example here. John Carter is teleported to Mars and he sees the big green monster thing, right? The four-armed one who is speaking another language. In a movie, you just visually see it. Yeah, right. Whereas in a book, it would be like John Carter awoke in a pit, and he saw this gigantic green four-armed monstrosity that had like da 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 da, and you can like just give word after word after word describing it and like giving John Carter's thoughts and opinions and feelings and
I thought of a good way to put it. It's sort of like if I were to say to you, Jordan, hey Jordan, I have a baseball bat. You know what a baseball bat is, right? But like, let's pretend
depends. Is it a wooden bat? Is it an aluminum bat? Is it a metal bat?
You know what a baseball bat looks like. Stop being a smartass. And so
I can't help it.
I call this a baseball bat. This is a baseball bat. So, and I just say it to you under the expectation that you know what a baseball. So that happens a lot in this movie, where a character will be like, "He's a
Glinthor.
a Blinthor," as if I should know what a Blinthor is. Whereas in the book, you can explain what a Blinthor is with like a couple sentences, and you don't have to. You can explain it. Whereas in the book or in a movie, if a character says it, it's clunky and it's confusing, and that happens a lot. There's a lot of hierarchical, like societal things, names and things that just don't mean anything because I don't, and you could tell that like, oh, this is gonna be expanded upon. That's the one thing. This movie was very confident it was gonna get a sequel, just like very confident, But yeah, I'm almost entirely positive that had that movie come out in say 2015, 2014, it might have been more popular. It's hard to say. It's hard to say with obviously retrospect and hindsight, but it definitely feels like it just came out in the wrong year. I understand. That's John Carter of Mars.
So okay, my next one. How do I want to tackle this? The movie is Super 8, but so what's funny about Super 8 is all I could think when I was watching this is this feels like what Stranger Things should have been. Just a movie. Maybe 3 movies.
I mean, yeah.
Just a movie. Like all I could think as I was watching this is like, oh, I can see how this could be stretched into a season of television show because that's clearly all Stranger Things did.
Yep.
Stranger Things feels like it was, and I'm not going to rail on that too much because that's not the point. But as I was watching this, that's just what kept entering my mind.
That's what I remember thinking when that show came out. But I've seen this. It's called Super 8. It came out like 3 years ago. It's the same thing. Which it is. I think this is made by J.J. Abrams.
This is J.J. Abrams and co-produced by Steven Spielberg.
Yeah. Kids on bicycles.
Yeah, I mean, it checks all the boxes. It takes place in 1979, so it's basically the 80s.
Oh, yeah. Steven Spielberg loves movies about his childhood. It's one of those things he loves.
And they're making a Super 8 movie, and they see a train derailment, and then whoopsie poopsie, there's an alien.
Oopsie poopsie. I remember liking it. I know I've seen it. I remember liking it. I remember I think we watched it at the cheap theaters years ago.
So what's funny is when I picked this movie, it wasn't the movie I thought it was. I thought it was going to be that one where I thought it was going to be that horror movie where they have all the recordings of the people that are on the Super 8 and the Super 8.
Oh, you're thinking of Sinister.
I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's the movie you're thinking of. Which also starts with Hess.
That's what I thought this was, but this to me, I'm trying to think of a nice way to say it, and there's just really no nice way to say it. This was kind of a nothing of a movie for me. I watched it. I know I watched it. It did nothing for me. It wasn't offensive in any way. It wasn't bad per se. It just didn't do anything for me.
Fair enough. I remember feeling like there was like Eddie J. Is this directed by J.J. Abrams, or did he just write it?
Directed by J.J. Abrams, yeah. Yeah,
like any J.J. Abrams, he's really good at setting up a mystery, and really good at setting up an atmosphere of a mystery. We're like, ooh, what's going on? And then you get to the conclusion, and it's nothing. He calls that the mystery box, but it's so awful. You get to the end and you're not satisfied. You're like, well.
My other thing that with this movie is and this is kind of a thing that made it hard for me to get into it and enjoy is so there's the one character who is the director, the fat kid.
Yeah.
He's directing the Super 8 movie. He's a dick. Like, he's just a really unpleasant, unfun character. He's bossy, he's rude, he's mean, and that's kind of the point of the character, but I don't like him, and it makes me not want to watch the movie.
I mean, fair enough.
I don't have much more to say about this one. It didn't, yeah.
It was a big meh.
It just didn't really do it for me.
Sometimes you're like a meh. Hey, speaking of meh, that leads beautifully into my meh, which is my next J movie, which is a big old Jack Reacher, but the Tom Cruise movie, not the apparently much better television show. And I definitely... Do you remember Jack Reacher, Jordan?
Jack Reacher.
It's the one where it's Tom Cruise, and he's a drifter who used to be in the military, but now he's not in the military, and a guy who he promised to put away in jail. They think that he shot a bunch of people, went crazy and shot a bunch of people, and there's a mystery, and he's solving, trying to figure it out. As that scene where he beats up those people at the bar. It's the only good scene in that movie.
I don't think I've ever seen this one.
We absolutely have seen it. We went to watch it.
Pretty sure I didn't,
No,
because it doesn't sound familiar at all.
We absolutely watched it in movie theaters. We watched it at Colossus.
I'm pretty sure you're wrong.
I am absolutely not wrong.
I'm almost certain you are.
No, I'm not wrong. We absolutely watched it in theaters.
No.
We watched it at Colossus in Langley. I remember.
Whoa! Don't give out the details of where we're nearby.
We are nowhere near Colossus in Langley.
In the vague area of.
We are nowhere near there anymore. But yeah.
Depends on what you
this
define
movie
as near.
We're nowhere near there. But yes, you've absolutely seen this movie. It is. I'm the number one thing I said it when I first watched it, and I maintain I don't understand why Tom Cruise needed this franchise. Tom Cruise went through this period of time where, very similarly to Vin Diesel, just wanted franchises, and so he has this. He tried to do The Mummy, which failed horribly.
Doesn't he already have this? So this is like a spy movie.
Yeah, pretty much. That was the number one thing I remember we said at the time was this.
Doesn't he already have Mission Impossible?
This is pretty much just Mission Impossible. Yeah, we watched this around the same time we watched Mission Impossible 5. The one with Henry Cavill. He's got the mustache, which we watched at the drive-in.
Okay.
Yeah. This movie's existence, I don't understand it. It's basically, in execution, just kind of minus the stunts. Mission Impossible, like the whole. Okay. I guess I should get the whole point of Jack Reacher. Jack Reacher is based on a series of books, and the whole thing with Jack Reacher is he's supposed to be 6'5", and impossibly strong, and impossibly fast for his size. Like, that's the whole deal. And so, Tom Cruise is 5'5". So Jordan, guess what? You're taller than Tom Cruise.
Cool.
I'm taller than Tom Cruise by
I've always wanted
by
to
a full 5 inches, which is wild to me. It means he's like this tall. Like,
I've always wanted to be taller than a celebrity.
I think that's 5. Yeah, full 5. So he's not very tall. So people didn't like this movie because he wasn't tall enough. And like
shorty.
He's basically just Ethan Hawke from Ethan Hunt. He's the same character in Mission Impossible, where he's slightly snarky. Like, I think the bit is supposed to be that he's an asshole, but with Tom Cruise, it never reads that way. It just reads that he's
sarcastic, snarky dick.
Yeah, but this movie only, in my opinion, has the one good scene, and it's the one where he goes to the bar. He's at the bar, and the girl walks up, and he's like, "I can't afford you," and she's like, "I'm not a hooker." I was like, "Oh, then I really can't afford you." And then the guy walks up. He's like, "Oh, is he giving you trouble?" And he's like, "Oh, he called me a hooker." And he's like, "No, she inferred hooker. I meant slut." And then he takes him outside, and he's like, "Yeah, it's 3-on-1." And you're like, "No, it's like, well, you're miscounting. It's 5-on-1." And he's like, "No, like, once I take out the leader, which is you, I'll have to contend with like 1 or 2 enthusiastic stragglers, but that's kind of it." And the guy goes to kick him, he grabs his leg, and he punches him right in the groin. Immediately, just right in the groin. He's holding his leg, and the guys are still standing there, like, posturing up, and he's like, "Really?" And then he punches him in the leg again and breaks it. And it's like the only good. I'll send it to you later. You've definitely seen it. I'll never forget walking out of.
I don't believe I have.
Walking out of Colossus, just being like, probably the reason why you don't remember it is because it's so unmemorable, which is probably the reason why they rebooted it as a Netflix show, which is apparently way better and a much better show. yeah, it's just kind of, as you put it, nothing. Like, none of the action was all that interesting. I've seen Tom Cruise do better shit. This movie was successful because they made a sequel. I've never seen it. I probably will watch it now that I've watched this for the show. I'll probably come back to this another time for some reason. Yeah, it's nothing. That was Jack Reacher.
Well, oh well, oh well. What a time it is to be little. Two. Stuart. Stuart Little, too.
You know, you mean that movie franchise where they, instead of adopting a human child, they adopted a rat?
A mouse. He's a mouse.
Rat?
He's a small little mouse.
I'm sorry, instead of adopting me? This mouse?
This movie in particular makes that world confusing because, okay, so in the first one, there's mice people who can speak human and humans understand them, and that's confusing enough because they can speak to the cats, but the cats can't speak human speak, and humans don't understand the cats. So the Stuart, hold on. The first movie has that, and that's confusing enough, right? So then this one introduces the bird girl character, and Tom Woods, James Woods, who is just James Woods but Falcon.
I was gonna say,
and the humans can understand the birds. And the birds can understand the cats, and the mice can understand the cats, and the people can understand the mice. But as far as I can tell, the humans can't understand the cats.
And the mice aren't bridging the gap between cat and human. What about dogs? Do the humans understand dogs?
No, the mouse is, because Stuart can speak to Snowball, right? And so Snowball understands him.
So is Stuart telling the humans what Snowball is saying?
That's a good question.
I'm just saying we can break down human-animal relations by 100 years.
A lot.
Just saying.
But yeah, so the fact that they can understand the bird makes it confusing because it's like, okay, so wait, do they actually understand Snowball and they just don't actually acknowledge what he says? Because it sure comes across like they can't understand what he's saying.
Sure seems that way. Well, I mean, is the Nathan Lane cat talking to the human and the human responding to them?
Well, he near the end of the movie, he's trying to get their attention and he's calling to them, and like he's talking, but they don't really seem to like see that he's talking, and then they're like, "Come on, Snowball," as if they didn't hear him talking.
So here's my theory, Jordan. The Littles are completely insane. They're just in a padded cell.
And none of the animals are talking.
None of the animals are talking. They're just completely... Do you ever see the animals talking to anyone who aren't the Littles?
So...
I'm just saying. Does Stuart Little talk to any other humans who aren't the Littles?
Yes, he does. He talks to to George's friend, and he's
who is a
school.
child? I mean, an adult. Do any of the adults talk to...
Well, yes, because he's in school, so he goes to school.
Oh, well, my theory just fell apart. Completely fell apart.
But so those who don't know, Stuart Little 2, basically a little bird falls into Stuart's car. They start to fall in love? Question mark.
What?
It's kind of the implication. It's weird.
Implication.
Then there's the Falcon, who for some reason likes to steal precious items from households and uses the little bird to steal things like rings and jewelry. But what's a bird gonna do with rings and jewelry?
Birds do that. They like the shiny things. In fact, I think there are some... I don't know about falcons, but there are birds that will do that. No,
sure. That, and maybe if it had just been the little bird character and she worked for like a crow or something that like.
I think they didn't want the racist implications.
No, more they had to have a threat and a falcon. Not as much as a falcon.
In nature, they are.
Not as much, not as easily identifiable to a child who's going to be watching this movie as a bird who has sharp talons and a beak, which is going to rip the little mouse to shreds.
I could believe that someone went, what bird is inherently sneaky? And they went, crow. And then they went, ooh, yeah. I suspect that probably was a conversation at some point in the development process of that movie. It had to have been.
I don't know. It was 2002. I don't know that they were that conscious about stuff like
Really, at
that at
some
that point. Yeah.
Also, Jordan, you
But I liked this movie. I had fun with it. It was really short.
Jordan, Jordan, I've now realized something.
It was 78 minutes long, Justin.
Can you see, before we move on, can you see the plant background on Zoom when you talk to me on Zoom?
On my Zoom, no.
I need you to open up the stream.
I have the
Tell
stream
me.
open at all times.
To tell me those vines don't look like boobs. Right here. It's just like a vine of boobs.
I don't see it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Honka. Right there. Can you see the mouse on the stream?
No.
No, you can't see the mouse. Right above mine. Those plants.
Oh, the red things? Okay, I guess I could see it.
Some hanging boobies, Jordan.
I mean, it wasn't. I wouldn't have seen it until you pointed it out, but okay.
That's why I pointed it out so you could see it.
But yeah, I like this movie. It was short. It was 78 minutes long.
We're like a short movie, Jordan. We're loving a short film.
I had a good time with it.
We're loving a short king when it comes to.
It's really not much more to say about this.
Funny
one.
again. It just keeps working out. So speaking of short film,
little film.
Film.
Yeah. Yes.
I picked this next one because for whatever reason it sat in my favorite videos on YouTube for like the longest time, and that's a movie called Joe's Apartment.
Oh, I think I remember that one.
I tried to look for
Funky towels got the funk.
Is that the song? I wanted to figure out what song we had from that, and I couldn't find it because I was like, "There's a song."
Funky towels got the funk.
Yeah, so that movie's weird. It's
Baby,
so
I got
weird.
The love.
Basically,
Baby,
it's,
I got the.
Jerry O'Connell. He moves. It's like a giant cartoon. It doesn't really play like a real, but it was MTV's first movie, and it's about a guy, Jerry O'Connell, guy named Joe, moves to the big city with big dreams and a small, tiny bank account, and he meets with what's the word I'm looking for? An artist, who is doing an installation where he's pretending to be homeless, and everyone walks past him except for Joe, and so he helps Joe move into like a tiny, dirty apartment that a bunch of criminals, gangsters, are trying to get the old lady who's currently living in it to move out. And so they kill her, and he pretends to be her son, and because of rent control, he's allowed to just move in, and he moves in, and he is an absolute disgusting slob, and the roaches who live there love him, and they decide that they want to be his best friend. And one of the roaches, named Ralph, who's the leader roach, is voiced by Billy West, and it's his first movie.
And they're gonna help him get laid.
They are disgusting, which is the only funny joke in that entire movie is the fact that the roaches are filthy. Like, not just like the roaches, but I mean like verbally they're disgusting. They make all sorts of dirty and crude jokes. Like they're constantly telling Joe to bang. They're like leaving him like disgusting gifts, and Joe's like, I don't want your help, I don't want to be your friend, and they save his life, so they feel like he owes them, but they reveal to him that he can talk, and at the end of the movie they're like, no, you know too much, so we have to kill you now, and it's really silly and really dumb. Some of the puppetry, I think the puppetry is done. Oh, it was produced by Blue Sky Animation, and if you don't recognize that company,
Blue Sky, that's Ice Age.
That's Ice Age. And 20th Century Fox was so impressed with this movie that it's the reason why they bought that company and why they eventually made Ice Age. was because they were so impressed with the animation of the some of the animation for the cockroaches is all right. Like there's some puppetry in there that looks okay, and it's kind of funny sometimes. But otherwise, none of the music's very good. It was not exceptionally great. It was barely. I think it was like an hour and 5, hour 10, barely. It's just nothing of a movie. I was like, oh, this
I
is
just remember
really
that.
unimpressive.
I just remember that for years, that song. I think I had it on my MP3 player or something.
Some
I
of the
like
music's
that.
okay. Like some of the songs, like are
Bonky towel.
it was one of those you could tell it was aching to be a franchise. Like it felt because the whole bit is they're singing cockroaches and they're disgusting. So it kind of felt like, and it began its life as bumpers on MTV. Like bump. Okay, sorry. Do I have to explain what a bumper is? A bumper, for the kids who don't have cable and have only grown up on streaming, a bumper is a little thing that they would put in between commercials that wasn't necessarily a commercial. So like a cartoon or a short, or like, so in this case they were shorts involving the roaches who sang.
Got it.
So like a bumper, an example of a bumper would be, have you ever seen
Clone Wars.
Yes, Clone Wars is a bumper. Yes, that was like they were like 2 to 3 minutes long, and they would play between commercials. Or a really good one of my favorite bumpers is the one where Hank Hill meets the Silver Surfer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's a bumper.
Fox Kid had a lot of them.
Yeah. Fox Kids had all kind. Or one of the most infamous bumpers is when the 4Kids characters sang the
Star Spangled,
the Star Spangled Banner was terrible. Yeah, that's an example of a bumper. So this began life as that, and it almost seems like this movie is almost sort of like poising them to be kind of like the anti-Chipmunks almost, because that's kind of a similar vocal effect, and it seems like they're like the Chipmunks, but they're crude. That kind of seems like that's kind of what this movie was maybe going for. But yeah, I like it. It's kind of at that era where they're still figuring out, like, I think it's sort of when Jackass is kind of becoming a thing, sort of like that's kind of the era of MTV we're talking about. But yeah, nobody remembers Joe's Apartment. I don't think anyone remembers it. I barely did after I watched it.
I did.
Jordan.
I remember Joe's Apartment.
Jordan's the one person who remembers Joe's Apartment.
I didn't remember its name, but I remember it.
That's Joe's Apartment.
So, we've done the first one before on this show, so now it's time for us to do Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed, which is the sequel to that James Gunn 2002 Scooby-Doo movie.
Scooby-Doo 2, is this a good movie?
I argue it's not a sequel. No, that's what this is going to be titled. Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed. Is it actually a sequel?
Is it a sequel? I mean, it is. It technically is. Is it?
Is it?
I don't know.
Is it?
I don't know.
The only way in which it's a sequel is that they're telling us it's a sequel.
Yeah.
They're saying that this took place after the Monster Island thing. But nothing in this movie sets that up or says that. They don't specifically acknowledge Monster Island to say that it happens after.
Now a good teammate? Because wasn't the whole thing at the beginning of the first one was Fred was like up his own ass? Like he was like, that was his whole thing?
Yeah. But, I mean, he's not really that different over the course of any of the movies.
No, I mean, he the whole thing with that first one is he has a whole character arc where he has to learn to like not to like be a good leader and like let everyone have their own moment and not steal the spotlight. Like he has a whole character arc in that.
Yeah,
it's a basic bitch of a character arc, but it's still a character arc.
I argue that it's not enough of one that I would say that makes this a sequel.
No, what I'm saying is, does he seem to have learned that lesson, or is he being like the way he is at the beginning of the first one, where he's a dick?
I mean, again, yeah, he's better.
Is it interpretable?
But you could easily have just been like, he wasn't like that all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
That was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
I can only recall watching that movie.
There's really nothing in this movie which really makes it need to be a sequel. You could easily have called it like a prequel, or like it's to me there's nothing that makes it honest and truly. And I in fact go so far as to say, in terms of story, this should have been a prequel. This should have come first, and then the events of the first movie should have happened. This should have like you should have had it be where where maybe Fred is a little bit more arrogant in this one, and they do fall on the because this really leans into like they're hunting the classic monsters.
Yep.
Like it just
Well, to be fair, I think the reason why this one is the way it is was because of the initial. I mean, we talked about it before, but the initial go with that first movie was they wanted it to be darker, and that final version still maintains a lot of that. They wanted to do a dark, semi-serious version of the show, and I think this one was just like, fuck it, just do the show. And I think that was probably a change in direction. So I just don't think this one. I don't think they with the first one they had any intention of making it like this, and I think this one only is like this because the first one was too dark. I don't think it is. Well, I did at the time. To be fair, I found the first one to be kind of scary. It's tough because like theoretically, you should like this one more because it's got all the monsters from the original show in it.
Oh, I do. I do like this one more. I'm just saying, in terms of an overall, well, not more. I like it differently.
Yeah,
I like them for different reasons.
Yeah.
I like this one because yes, it does just feel like I'm watching an episode of the show.
Thing I recognize.
But to me, that's what makes it work better if it comes before the first one.
It's a bad sequel. It's a bad sequel to the version of the movie we saw
that we got.
But it's an all right movie on its own. Is what you're trying to say.
That's how I would probably word it.
Yeah.
Also, those
are my thoughts on this movie. Because I won't lie and say it's not cool to see the 10,000 volt monster in live action. It's
fun to see them. It just
like,
doesn't
work.
Of
that franchise, it's like, oh hey, it's a thing. Look,
it just doesn't work for me as a continuation of the story that we had from the last one.
I'm a strong proponent.
I guess to me, if I'm comparing it to the cartoons, it's as if you took the characters that were in the continuity of the you remember the very first of those they're serious ones, the Zombie Island.
Yeah.
It's like you took that continuity of characters and then threw them back into the '60s show.
Yeah, I can see why you would say that. My thing with
it just doesn't work for me.
I see what I do get what you mean when you're like, yeah, it's not hard to parse this as a sequel to the movie where they went, what if we made Scrappy Doo unconscionably frightening?
And like piss all over them and was like just and
what if Scrappy Doo was just scary for children
beyond all belief?
What if we did that? And then they were like, but what if it was goofy? No, the reason why this is the way it is because the general audiences didn't. I think
for that.
I think that Scooby-Doo, that first one, gets a lot of love retrospectively.
It is a cult favorite at this point. It was not at the time.
No, I remember being like, this movie's scary. As a child who was in the target demographic, I think I was 9 or 10 when that first one came out.
It was that movie was totally confusing. Is how I would say. And, what's interesting though is that there was going to be a they call it a sequel, a threequel, I guess you would call it, a third one.
Yeah. So this one bombed horribly.
Apparently, the plot for it was going to be that the Mystery Inc. gang are hired by a town in Scotland who complain that they're being plagued by monsters, but we discover throughout the film that the monsters are actually the victims. Scooby and Shaggy have to come to terms with their own prejudices and narrow belief systems, which that feels like a sequel to what we got. Like that feels like a sequel.
I'm down for doing they're in their 40s now and Scooby-Doo. I mean, I think they should fold in elements of Mystery Incorporated where it's like, they're all in their 40s now and Scooby-Doo is somehow still alive, and then you do a bit where Scooby's a magic dog.
I mean, yeah, but I want to be fair. That's not to say I didn't have fun with this one. I did have fun with it. It's just not a good sequel.
They do a kind of a fun rug pull where it's spoiler alert, where they make you think that it's
Seth Green the entire
time, and it turns out to be Alicia Silverstone.
Also, I didn't realize that this was filmed. Most of it, or a good portion of it, was filmed in Vancouver.
Oh, interesting. It's also region specific. Jordan sent me a clip of it, but there's a line. So I wasn't sure where it was, but yeah, there's a line or there's a scene in that movie where depending on where you are, they say a different fast food place.
Yeah, where it was he was like something to the effect of like let's go and eat, and it fills in the line. So for me it was like KFC, but
Yeah.
or the something to this effect where it was like it said one thing but the subtitle said
I
another.
think, like, for example, in Australia, I think they say Hungry Jack, which is basically their equivalent to Burger King.
Interesting. Yeah, no.
But
This was apparently
I'm
filmed in
not
Vancouver.
100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Interesting. Jordan, is that it for Scooby Doo 2? More Scooby Doo, Scooby Dooing.
That is it for Scooby Doo 2. Scoobert do it.
Scoobert do it.
No,
Scooby Doo it.
Scoobert. Scooby. Yes, yes, yes. I
Scooby
like that
Doo
better.
it.
Scooby do it.
Um, so my next one, I had a realization this week, Jordan, because I used to really like this movie as a child, and I used to think it was really funny, and then I watched it and I hated it. Not hated it. That's a strong word. I just was not having a good time, and that was Jungle
Felt
to Jungle.
uncomfortable.
No,
Oh,
honestly, this one didn't make me feel
no,
uncomfortable.
sorry. I'm thinking of the other one.
No, this is Jungle to Jungle. No, it made me have the realization. I used to really like Tim Allen, and I was on, or maybe I was watching Jake on something, and he said how he rewatched this movie, and how he remembered his fondness for it. And we always talk about how Tim Allen's funny and stuff, and like I remember loving this movie as a child. I genuinely do. I remember thinking it was really funny, but all Tim Allen does this entire movie is fucking complain.
That's the one where on the cover it's him and he's got the arrow through his head,
Yeah,
right?
arrow through his head, yeah.
Did we watch that?
Absolutely, yeah. We used to watch
I have no memory of watching that.
We watched this in Calgary.
Oh wow.
That's that I very remember. I don't remember if it was we actually watched it in theaters, but I very much remember. I have a memory of watching this when I was a child. Like, it's basically Tim Allen is gonna get married to a woman, and he goes to visit his ex-wife in this jungle, and it turns out, oops, he has a kid. He's got a son, and the son convinces him to take him back to the city for this like tribal journey. He has to retrieve fire from the Statue of Liberty, and it's a fish out of water story where Tim Allen is a stockbroker, and his partner is Martin Short, and they get in with they basically buy a bunch of stock for this coffee something. What the stock is doesn't really matter. And because he's in this island village, his computer dies. He doesn't confirm it, so they wind up stuck with it, and they go to the Russian mob to try to sell it. And the Russian mob is just the guy in charge or whatever is just Jumba. That's the clip I sent you where I was like, he's just Jumba.
He's just Jumba.
And the movie is basically Tim Allen bonds with the son over the course of the movie, and he's supposed to marry this like. The character's basically just Meredith from The Parent Trap. That
Merritt. Oh, Merritt. Yeah.
She's basically just that character of Vapid. I think that the idea is she's supposed to be like young and hot and vapid, but she's really not that much younger than Tim Allen, so it's not really reading. Like it seems to be like it's supposed to be like Tim Allen is marrying a younger woman, but it doesn't. Again, the actress doesn't really look that much younger than Tim Allen, so it's not really reading all that well. There is a really funny joke where the kid keeps trying to hunt and kill people's pets because he's in just that back. He speaks English, and his mom has taught him English, and his mom is educating him, but for some reason he doesn't know that it's not socially acceptable to eat pets. So like he tries to eat the cat. He's got like a pet tarantula that terrorizes people. But there's a really funny scene where he in order to because he's in love with Martin Short's daughter, who is Tim Allen's partner or whatever. And so in order to make friends with his family, Martin Short has a bunch of exotic fish that the son cooks and eats. That's kind of funny. But again, it doesn't involve Tim Allen. It involves Martin Short, who is way funnier than Tim Allen. But as I was watching this, I was like, I don't think Tim Allen is funny anymore. I just all of his gags of just like, oh, I'm the man and you have to listen to what I say and I'm hyper masculine, and like none of the humor in this movie worked for me. All it was him just complaining and whining and bitching and moaning and being like grievanced the entire time and feeling like he's being inconvenienced by like everything. It's just none of the jokes, and I've sort of I've been watching clips from Home Improvement, a show
I was just gonna say,
as a child.
I was just gonna say, now you're gonna have to go back and watch a bunch of Home Improvement.
Well,
and
I've
see
been
if
watching
you
it.
hate
The
it.
clips of it have been popping up on TikTok, and there's a lot of times where I'm like, he's being unreasonable, and it's not fun. The humor's not translating to me. It's just not working for me anymore. I'm not finding him funny like
Not
I used
feeling
to.
it.
I'm not. Yeah, and I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I don't. Maybe it's because just like I know he's a sucky person. Maybe it's because I don't align with him politically, and he's the worst kind of right wing political person, like the most obnoxious kind.
You're just now seeing all of that in his old stuff as well, because it was always there.
Yeah, like I think it's like trying to watch Last Man Standing. I think that show is agonizing because all it is just an embittered right-wing conservative man complaining about liberals, and I just find that humor insufferable.
It's like when I watched.
I feel like that's fine, but I find it insufferable.
It was better, but it's like when I watched that Santa Claus show, and it's just him being Exactly. It's just him being bitter about everything.
Yeah, it's like Jay. It's just funny because when I say conservative comedy, it's like they've got the same three jokes. It's the liberal woman with the blue hair. The I study political science. It's the I identify as kiss my ass.
It's the I can't make jokes about anything anymore because everybody's so sensitive.
No, you can't get away with saying everything because it's so woke. Or what they used to call it. It's too PC. Everything's all PC because there's always a word for it. And it's like it's just that. That show is just that. Like like none of that shit. I don't find it funny anymore. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I guess it's just an age thing where it's like I used to have people in my life who were like that who I used to just couldn't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but that's all this movie was to me. It's like about midway through it, I was like, I don't think I find Tim Allen funny anymore, which is what's gonna make. It's gonna make Toy Story 5 so interesting because he just seems to be such a focal point of that movie that I'm like, I don't know what I might have to watch more. You're right. I may have to watch Home Improvement for this show to be like, is it me?
I don't feel like it'll be as big of an issue in Toy Story because Disney is pretty on the reins about that. Pixar is pretty on the reins about that franchise. So I'm not too concerned about that. Of the reasons why I'm concerned about that movie, that's not necessarily one of the stronger ones.
Like I saw clips. I saw a clip. This is just going to turn to a rant about how much I dislike Tim Allen. But I saw clips of, I think it's called Shifting Gears. It's that show he did with Kat Dennings. And it's literally the same joke. It's the same joke as Last Man Standing, where it's like emboldened, embittered conservative man has to deal with his crazy liberal daughter, and it's on Disney. I think it's on Disney Plus, and I'm like, it's the same joke as the Last Man Standing. It's like the one joke, and I'm like, yeah, it makes me cringe, and that's just that's what this movie kind of was a lot. Yeah, I don't know, the fish out of water stuff. It just didn't work for me. And I remember loving this movie as a kid. There's nothing more heartbreaking than like being like, man, I loved this movie as a kid and it made me feel weird. Foreshadowing.
Yeah, but
poor Haley. Poor Haley's gonna leave a very angry comment on the inevitable video that I make about Jack.
I'm actually surprised we haven't gotten any comments from her.
No, she must be busy.
Is that all you have to say about that one?
That's all I have to say about Jungle to Jungle. Oh, no, sorry, there was one more thing. About Jungle to Jungle I forgot to mention that I learned about, because this devolved to a rant about Tim Allen, but it's apparently based on a French movie that's worse. Like this movie was
Okay.
quite poorly received when it came out. Like it wasn't super well received, which as I was watching it, I kind of got why. But when I was reading about, because I always have to know about the critical reception, and the critical reception to this was like it's not as bad as the French one, and that's only because it's so generic and bland. And that made me go, my goodness, how bad is the French one? I've sort of started running. I have several lists. I might have to like do a list of like foreign films that I want to watch.
Yeah, for when we eventually do that foreign episode.
Foreign episode, because like I can't. If it's worse than this, how could it possibly be worse than this? This was already pretty bland. It is very like. It's like in terms of like Tim Allen slop. It's like really, it's up there with like the Shaggy Dog. It's like the mid 2000s. He's trying to like be the Disney guy. He's on Home Improvement, like that era of Tim Allen slop movie. That's it. That's it.
Okay. All right. So, my next movie. So back in the day, fun little bit of history of
Back in the day.
Jordan lore, if you prefer. Back in the day, I owned a PSP, and they had these things called UMDs, which were basically movies. And one of the ones that I had was the Da Vinci Code. One of them was Anger Management, and I don't remember if this was one of them. But I also had a flash drive where I had a bunch of movies, and you could watch movies on your PlayStation Portable. This was one of the movies I watched a lot, but I don't remember if it was just a downloaded one. But anyway, Sydney White, kind of a guilty pleasure for me.
Oh,
I-
poor Amanda Bynes.
Yeah. This is before that. This is 2007. So I mean, yeah, this movie is just a version of Snow White.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
No, not pretty much. It is just a version of Snow White.
Adaptation of Snow White.
Um,
With a few changes here and there.
so like Sydney White is Snow White.
I don't think they do the poison apple bit. Do they do the poison apple
They
bit?
they do the poison apple bit. They do a version of the poison apple bit.
Well, all right.
Rachel Witchburn is the evil queen. You have the Prince Charming, the version of Prince Charming, and I'm gonna say what they are because I didn't know what they actually were, and I tried to interpret it for years. And so the main guy, Lenny, is Sneezy, which makes sense because he does all the the sneezing and allergy stuff. The guy who's really tall, and has been there for like 8 years and isn't even a member of the school anymore, and is really smart, is Doc. One of the guys, Jeremy, is bashful. Gherkin, who does the blog and he's really angry all the time, is obvious. He's grumpy. Spanky, the horny one who just wants to have sex all the time.
Wait, stop. Time out. I don't remember horny. I'm pretty sure I remember all of the. Well, hold on, no. We're not gonna skip over horny. Okay, hold on. No, stop. Hold on. We gotta go through. There's Sneezy. There's Happy. There's Doc. There's Dopey. There's Grumpy. There's Sneezy,
Bashful.
There's Bashful. Nope, don't remember horny.
That's because
7 dwarves, not one of them named Horny. Also, I just feel like calling one of the dwarves Horny. Bad play.
He's not horny. He's happy, Justin.
Oh.
He's happy.
Oh.
But his nickname is Spanky. There's Mbale, who's sleepy. And that's the 7 dwarfs.
Who's Doc?
And as for Doc is funny enough, he was actually on Breaking Bad. But he's the really tall one, Terrence.
Oh.
The one who at first they have running for school president.
Dopey not talk?
He talks a little, but he's dopey.
So is this like an adaptation of the Disney one, or is this really more like a loose adaptation of the original story?
I would just say it's more of a loose adaptation of the story, but so then there's a point, and you ask about the apple, so I'll tell you about that. There's a point where so there's the hot or not list, which is like the fairest in the land comparison. And Sydney White keeps gradually moving up it. And also at a certain point, she's she Terrence, it's found out that he has been at the school for so long that he's not technically a member of the school anymore, and so he can't run for president. And so then Sydney's like, I like they have their all is lost moment, and
All is lost moment.
Sydney's like, I'm gonna run instead. And so then Rachel Witchburn, to try and screw over Sydney, pays this hacker dude because
Hey, there's.
Sydney has a Apple, an iPad computer, an Apple computer,
Oh,
and
yeah.
so she uses a hacker. The evil witch uses a hacker to send a virus to Sydney's Apple and poison it.
Oh no.
And before the screen goes black, you see the apple on the screen, and it slowly turns green, and then the screen turns off. I
Oh
think it
snap.
does. All I know is that she uses the poison in that way, and that's the right. And then the
Wait, so
she
does the
goes
prince
into the
kiss her computer because her computer's technically dead?
no. So then she borrows Gherkin's laptop to try and rewrite her paper and the speech and everything, and pulls an all-nighter, and then falls asleep in the
Oh
library,
snap.
and is gonna miss the speech and everything, and then Tyler Prince Charming comes and kisses Sydney and wakes her up because she's fallen asleep.
Oh snap.
So that's so the poison apple. The dude poisons the apple, which is the computer, and then Sydney falls asleep, and then the prince wakes her up.
That makes sense. That does follow the plot of Snow White.
Um, I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say that it's like the greatest
I feel
movie
like
in
probably Haley would
creation,
like that movie. That feels like a
but
movie she probably likes.
I feel like she would.
Feel like right in
Um,
her wheelhouse.
it didn't do well.
No, no, it did not.
It did not do well at all.
That was
Um,
one of a series of bombs that Amanda Bynes did, including I believe She's the Man is also in that string of bombs. That poor girl. I feel real bad for her.
Probably. But that's where I say for me it's a guilty pleasure. I enjoy this movie. This movie makes me smile every time I watch it, and I have a good time with it.
It's just a
But
delightful time.
that's Sydney White.
That is Sydney White. So my next one,
And
Jordan.
also that was my last rapid fire.
My last rapid fire. It's what in terms of bad movies. This is one of my favorite bad movies because it's the kind of bad movie where you're like, my God, just everything had to go wrong for this to fail so badly. And that's a movie called Jupiter Ascending. Jordan, do you remember Jupiter Ascending?
I So that's the one with oh, I'm gonna blank on the actress's name. Melissa Kunis.
Mila
And
Kunis.
then Mila Kunis. Sorry, Melissa. And then she uh is taken into space and she's like a queen or something.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes. So this created by I thought this was based on something like the entire movie. I'm watching it and I'm like, this has to be an adaptation of something because it feels like again three books of a series of generic science fiction books, but it's written by the Wachowskis and Warner Brothers went to them and were basically like, hey, Wachowskis. I don't know if this was when they were men or women, but this is it's like, hey,
Hey,
Wachowskis.
hey, Wachowski people.
We know that you made The Matrix, and that made a boatload of money. Do that again. And so the plot of this is, Mila Kunis is the reincarnate. Okay, space exists. Space is real, and there are aliens, and there is a series of families, rich alien people that
Game of Thrones
it's
families.
basically Dune. It's Dune. There's a bunch of families, because Game of Thrones is basically Dune. There's a bunch of families, and it turns out that the Earth is part of a drug ring, manufacturing ring for rich people, where a thousand. And this is a big twist in the movie, but per 1,000 people, they're processed and they're turned into a magic youth juice that makes you live forever. And the Earth is just like it's very densely populated. The humans are basically used to they're cows basically. They're cattle. They're used to create this juice. And yeah, Mila Kunis is the reincarnated version of the queen or the matriarch of a particular family, and her 3 children are not put in charge, but they're all made the first, second, and third in command. And the main bad guy of the movie is Eddie Redmayne, who is terrible. He's awful in this movie. It might be one of the worst performances of his career. He talks like you remember Saw Gerrera from Rogue One?
I'm aware of him.
He kind of talks like that, where he's constantly out of breath until he's randomly yelling.
Man, it must be bad because you can't even do it.
Oh, that was not good for my throat. But it's such a weird, goofy performance. But so he sends she is part of this family. She wants to buy a telescope, and so she goes to sell her eggs, and Eddie Redmayne sends a bunch of people to try and kill her. She gets saved by Channing Tatum, who is like a part half wolf man.
She gets saved by the Channing?
By
Mr. Tatum?
My Mr. Tatum's, yeah. And yeah, it turns out that she is the reincarnated. It's basically that genetics are like religion in Space World. So her genetics have been passed on to Jupiter, who, because she's the reincarnated version of the Queen, is now entitled to all of the stuff that the Queen owns if she claims it. And so in order, she has to go through this there's this really excruciatingly long bureaucratic sequence where she goes through like several different bureaucratic people who help her basically claim her title and become rich. And the one son...
Not just rich, Justin. Space rich.
Space rich, which is even more rich than regular rich. And
it's like the next level of rich.
The youngest son sends Channing Tatum to save her because he wants to get married to her. But marriage in space isn't about love; it's just a contract thing. So he wants to marry her and then kill her. So then
just marriage.
Yeah. So he'll get access to her wealth and the Earth, and then Channing Tatum saves her from getting married to him, and then the Eddie Redmayne kidnaps her family, and they stop him and beat him, and it's really dumb. And it's really dense. Like there's a lot of expositing. There's a lot of expository language explaining how the world works. Like the societal structure of how space works is so complicated, but the movie never explains it. And for just huge chunks of the movie, I was just like, the people who made The Matrix made this.
That's why it's so complicated.
They made good movies. Like this is a bad movie. Like. But it is otherwise all right, standard science fiction affair until Eddie Redmayne. Eddie Redmayne is so bad, and the reason why I'll never forget this movie is because our mutual friend, we walked out of it, and he never had strong opinions on anything ever. And there's only 2 movies I will never forget. It's the Last Airbender movie. It's this one when he said, "You know this movie was bad because Sean Bean didn't even die in it."
And Sean Bean dies in everything.
And Sean Bean dies in everything. It's the one thing he's supposed to do in movies, and he didn't do it in this piece of... He didn't say piece of... We say he didn't do it in this movie, and that's how you know it's a bad movie. It's all yeah. Yeah, it's just, again, it's like... It's basically the cinematic equivalent of that cutaway from Family Guy, where it's like, the corporation is gonna get us. Oh no! It's like one of those, like, there's the evil space family who wants to get the MacGuffin to get the thing to stop the thing. Like, say, the most clever thing it does is one of the pieces of equipment that Channing Tatum has is like space roller skates. but by the end of the movie, he eventually gets wings. So then Mila Kunis has and it leaves everything so open ended. Like I think they might. I can't remember because my brain gets stuffed with so many movies. But I think Eddie Redmayne is still alive at the end of it, or it's ambiguous. But definitely the other two kids are still alive. So it's very much like implied, like, oh yeah, no, nothing I've discovered drives me more crazy than when a movie arrogantly assumes it's gonna get a sequel, and this one just thought it was gonna get a sequel. It thought so much it was gonna get a sequel, and it was like, no, there's no way. There's no way you were getting a sequel. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah. It was. I just one of those movies that you forgot you watch until it pops up in conversation, and you're like, oh yeah, that one. That's movie. A thing. I watched that movie.
I'm aware that I did, but I don't really remember anything about it. I just remember there being a scene where like they compare humans to bees or something.
No, it's Sean Bean. Basically, the humans are genetically engineered. How it works is I actually paid attention to this. So how it works is basically the evil space people who are, it's never really made clear as to whether or not they're human or if they're another alien race, but they show up on a planet and they seed it with what essentially becomes humans. And so the dominant species on Earth is dinosaurs. So they showed up and killed the dinosaurs and replaced them with humans. And then they allow the race to develop into excess, and once it hits a certain level of excess, they harvest it for this magical Earth juice. So off planet, there's certain types of humans who are like humans who have been bred with other animals. So the Channing Tatum character is like half wolf, and then the Sean Bean character is half bee.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just remember something to do with bees.
So they show up to Sean Bean's place, and Sean Bean is like, the bees always recognize royalty when they see it because all the bees are respecting her, and they're flying around here like, yes, safely and not trying to sting her. She's like, the bees are being nice to you because they always recognize when there's royalty in the room. So that, yeah. The reason why I'll never forget it is I'm sure probably once I said that you remembered the mutual friend, and you probably remember that.
I mean, I just remember that movie because I remember it being so forgettable that it's not. It's
fine. It's fine. It's honestly. Again, I was okay with most of it. I was like, this is all right. Some of the action sequences are all right. It truly is Eddie Redmayne. Eddie Redmayne is. If this becomes a video, I'm probably gonna play several clips of him because he's horrid. You're like, my God, this is like, I think this is the same year he won an Oscar. Like, it is bad. There's certain times when you're watching a movie where I think he thought this was gonna be something. Like, it felt like he thought he was doing something with this performance, and it's just bad. It's like, oh my God,
he thought this was gonna be the Ship of a Thousand Dreams.
Well, yeah, like this was gonna be a franchise or what, or I don't know if he thought he was winning an Oscar for it or if he was just having fun with it. But yeah, the voice, it's hard to describe if you don't remember it, but it was not good. Anyway, that is Jupiter Ascending, and my final rapid fire.
So, I guess I will jump into the have scenes. And we're going to start with School of Rock.
School of Rock!
I love this movie. It's always a delight every time I watch it. Jack Black is a creep.
He is a creep who does a crime.
And doesn't go to jail.
When he definitely should.
He definitely should. He not only doesn't go to jail, but because he was good at teaching the kids how to play music, he is rewarded with a thriving business.
Right. The funny part for me is I was obsessed with this movie when I was a kid, and I've seen the behind the scenes. There's a behind the scenes video of it, and there's a really funny moment which meant nothing to me as a child, but in retrospect is funny, where he goes to band practice, and it's him going to Tenacious D band practice.
Oh, that's funny.
It's Kyle Gass, yeah.
No, the thing that was always funny to me, which I found out years later, was in the movie, Miranda Cosgrove's character is supposed to not be able to sing, and apparently they had to actually like teach her and tutor her how to sing
Yeah, yeah,
badly because
yeah.
she's obviously very capable of
She's a
singing
very
correctly.
quite a good singer. Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I don't need to recap the plot of this movie. If you haven't seen School of Rock, go watch School of
He's a
Rock.
creep and he
It's
pretends to be a teacher and
a substitute
he
teacher.
uses the kids to get into battle of the bands.
And horribly screws up their education by like because he's there like he's supposed to be there for like weeks, right?
Yeah.
Like over the course of this movie he has
Horribly.
like done a rapper they will be going to summer school to make up the lost school hours.
Right?
Like he has done terrible damage to their education.
Irreparable damage. And
No, not irreparable. They can do summer school, but definitely has done damage to their
definitely
schooling.
has done damage to that school year. I mean, yeah, there's that weird joke where he's like, "My kid, her kids have touched me, just as I'm sure I've
And I'm
touched
pretty
them."
sure no, your kids have touched me, and I'm pretty sure I've touched them too. And then the parents are just all like, "Oh my God!" Oh,
Sarah Silverman's
such a
awful in that movie. She's a
she's just
bitch.
such a unpleasant individual.
Appreciate that you know who Sarah Silverman is enough for me to be like, you know who Sarah Silverman is.
Of course I do. She's also in Wreck-It Ralph,
And there's the
and she's
brother
and
friend.
she's and Justin, she's fucking Matt Damon.
She's fucking Matt Damon.
She's fat fucking Matt Damon
You know,
on the windows on the
I
floor.
don't want to be sexist, but stand up to your woman.
Grow some balls, man. But
Grow
that's
some-
kind of the point.
Grow some balls, man. Stand
It's
up
kind
to
of
your
the
woman.
point. Is that he is a pushover and he
So
pushed
here's
over
the question,
by
Jordan.
Jack Black's character. So of course he goes out and gets a woman who he's also a pushover for. It's just kind of his character, you know.
I'm never. You know, just Jordan. Did you know that there's a musical based on this movie?
I did know that.
Here's my question without googling
I've never watched it and I don't know anything about it, but I'm aware because I
I
have
know
one of the
two
songs.
songs from it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have one of the songs for it on my
I know
playlist.
exactly two. I know that. Okay, so I know that. I'm pretty sure the bit where he convinces the teacher to say yes. I think in the musical that's an actual song. That's a musical number.
Oh yeah.
So without
Oh, yeah.
googling it, and I will not Google it because maybe someone will tell us in the comments. Does the brother friend character, does he have a song in that musical? Do you think?
I don't think he's supposed to be his brother, but yeah, probably.
Do you think he has a song? I
Um,
don't know. I don't know what he is. Friend.
I feel
character?
like roommate, friend.
Roommate?
They were
Friend?
they were in a band
They
together.
were in a band together.
So
The nature of their
Friend?
relationship is never made 100% clear.
let's see what Wikipedia defines them as.
But do you think he has a song in that musical? Somebody tell me in the comments. Does he have a song in that musical?
And it's funny because it just says next morning Dewey wakes up in the apartment he lives in with Ned Schneebly and his girlfriend. So it doesn't. Wikipedia doesn't even say.
Doesn't even say. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess
I'm
it's his
gonna-
friend.
I'm gonna guess that it's his friend from college or from high school that they played in a band together. That's my headcanon. I mean, I know they played in a band together, but because they say that in the movie. I think that the song that he would have in the musical is in the final moments of the play.
Ram it up
when
your ass and shut up,
when-
bitch. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
no, I was gonna say after it's all resolved because in the movie it cuts and he's teaching the little kids how to play and he's part of the School of Rock. So I think in the play that would be his song is teaching them how to play a guitar.
That makes
You want to
sense.
put your finger on F9. I think that's the right one.
I
Um,
still think they should make School of Rock too. Do it.
I think it's too late.
No, you do it where they're all adults now.
Yeah, I think it's too late.
I already made my pitch for that, where that should be.
Did you?
Yeah.
Is
the
it
show.
on another channel? Did you watch School of Rock?
Yeah, we watched it as children.
No, but I meant on the show.
Oh no, we talked about there was a story where they were it came up and we said what we would do for it, and what I would do for it is you have it where it's Ned's retiring, or not Ned, the Dewey, the character,
Dewey.
the Jack Black character.
Jack Black.
He's been teaching for 30 years and he's retiring, and all the kids come back to celebrate his retirement.
I would do that, but I would have it be where the kids come back and each of them want him to give them the School of Rock.
That also would be fun. Have them all compete for the School of
And
Rock.
they're all competing for the School of Rock.
The only hitch, I think, is the kid who played the drummer, Freddie. I think he passed away. Pretty sure he died in a car crash or something. I think. Jordan, do you have anything else you want to say about School of Rock?
Yes, it had a budget of $35 million. Do you want to guess what it made at the box office? More.
$200 million.
Less, and that was your last guess because it's $131.3 million.
Yeah, wildly successful. Not only was it a Broadway musical, they eventually made it into a Nickelodeon show as well.
Yeah, the fact that it was so successful and that they didn't make a sequel to it is kind of surprising.
It was very weird because that musical. The thing about its success is it's kind of retroactive because that musical came out like well after we were living here.
Apparently, in 2008, Jack Black said a sequel was being considered.
Yeah, no, like we were moved out. We were moved out, but when that musical came out, like
interesting.
At least I'm pretty sure we were.
So
it was
apparently,
like 2018, 2019. It was like a while after the movie came out.
Apparently, the potential sequel would have been titled School of Rock 2: America Rocks. Would have picked up with Finn leading a group of summer school students on a cross-country field trip that delves into the history of rock and roll.
Neat. Sure, is that it? Sure, is that it?
Sorry, I'm just reading.
Sure.
A direct sequel film to School of Rock was in development along with a Tenacious D film.
Oh.
Interesting. That's it for School of Rock.
Which one should I do first?
But there's no way you'll stop the School of Rock.
Let's do Jimmy Neutron first. So,
Jimmy
Jordan.
Neutron.
A J word. Jimmy. Jimmy James, Jimmy Jam, Jim Brew. Jimmy Neutron.
Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah, never a movie did I watch where I was like, I understand why this became a franchise. No, this is another one I very much watched as a kid. It's so funny. I remember the very first trailer for that movie, and it's the opening bit of the movie, which is first of all, Jordan, how much of Jimmy Neutron do you remember? The movie, not the show.
I remember that the parents get kidnapped, and then Jimmy Neutron builds a bunch of rides and stuff into spaceships, which would make no sense because they can't breathe in space.
Nope. Doesn't make any sense.
And the aliens in question are like in a container and they're goo.
They're goo and they're eggs. No, the very first trailer was basically the opening of the movie where it's all the military people. And they're all monitoring the thing in the whatever, and it cuts, and it's Jimmy Neutron. He's like, got a blast, and he flies away. Like, I remember watching that trailer and being like, what is this? And I remember the very first teaser, which is a bunch of, basically there were a bunch of shorts that they made where he was wearing a like a striped shirt instead of, and a couple of them made it into the movie, but one of them was the mom was feeding him cream corn. And he kept feeding it into Goddard. Yeah, those were shorts that they I think they played.
I remember them being on Teletoon.com and stuff like that. Like they were on the website.
They were on the internet. Yeah. I remember all of those. So I remember that this was a big
I remember
thing.
the box one. I definitely remember the box one.
And I definitely remember watching this in movie theaters the first time. And it's so funny when you watch movies as a kid in theaters, they always feel longer than they are. This is only like an hour 20, hour 25, like barely. It's not
standard kids movie.
Yeah, it's quite short, but number one, again, I respect the restraint of what eventually became the show, because
it does it in reverse too, unlike a lot of the Nickelodeon stuff where it starts as a movie and then it becomes the show.
And the show is very much a sequel to this, and the show could have easily been a thing of like, oh, it's Jimmy versus the aliens, and it wasn't. It was just his everyday life and how he interacted. The thing about this movie that was surprising to me is the pacing's bad. It's really slow. Like it's an hour.
Really?
Oh, it's
Slow.
really slow. Like
I would have thought it would be too fast.
they're going into they don't go into space until like an hour in. There's like 30 minutes left of the movie when they're going into space. The first like 30-ish minutes of it really is just him in town. It's just like an episode of the show where it's him launching the toaster into space to get, which attracts the aliens. He goes to show and tell.
Bubble travel.
Bubble Travel, the theme song, and then he tries to convince the parents to let him go to the fair. They will let him. Yeah, the alien stuff doesn't really come until like way later in the movie, and the movie's so short that it feels quite slow, where it really takes a while to jump into the plot of it. And yes, it does have the bit where he converts all of the amusement park rides into spaceships, and you feel bad for you're like, oh yeah, okay, Carl gets to be in the Flappy Butterfly one, and Jimmy gets to be in the rocket ship, but man, I sure feel bad for the kid in the spinny octopus style one who's just perpetually spinning for days at a time. It's like there's no his equilibrium is completely destroyed.
I mean, unless Jimmy found some way around that, which I don't know how he would.
He's just perpetually always dizzy. His life is ruined forever now. And then so the big twist is that the aliens want to sacrifice the parents to their god, which is a big chicken, a big evil chicken. And this blew my mind. Patrick Stewart is in this movie?
Is he?
He's the bad guy.
Is he actually? Holy shit.
It doesn't... I was like, in everything he's ever in, he's one of those actors where he's Patrick Stewart. Like, when he shows up as the poo emoji in the Pooh movie, you're like, you can
usually
Patrick
tell.
Patrick Stewart. Or when he's on
there
American
has been
Dad,
a few
where
times.
he's like, it's Patrick Stewart.
I will say, there have been a few times when we've, like, on the course of this show...
I can't think of one.
Where... There was one recently where I was like, "That's Patrick Stewart."
I can't think.
Hold on, I'm gonna. You keep talking. I'm gonna look at his filmography to see if I can remember.
I'm gonna show it to you later because it's enough where you're like, "That's Patrick Stewart." It's. I don't even know how to describe it. The voice is really like it's a high inflection. It's way more up there. It's not low at all. It doesn't sound anything like him. Like the cadence doesn't sound anything like him. Like it was enough that I clicked on it. I went like Sir Patrick Stewart, and it was like no, yeah, it's like it's not like Patrick Stewart, but it's like spelt differently. So it's like no, it's Patrick Stewart. And that was kind of neat about this and the show is unlike the Penguins of Madagascar, there's actual continuity. So there's an episode in the show where the bad guys from the movie come back and they convince everybody that they're good guys, in order to get Jimmy to clone the chicken thing again. But they come back and they fully address it. And the movie ends with him being like, "I'll get you, Jimmy Neutron." And it very easily could have been a game of they're the bad guys on the show, and every episode is the evil alien egg monsters try to get Jimmy Neutron, and they're the bad guys. And it very easily could have been that. It's definitely one of those movies that I went, I'm not surprised this became a franchise. That was so enduring. It lasted forever. Like it went on forever. They eventually started to do spin-offs. Did you know there was a Sheen spin-off?
No, yes, I did. I remember because when I went to Radical, it was made by Radical.
Really?
I believe
Planet
so.
Sheen is what it's called.
Sorry. Go away, Ontario. When I believe it was when I went to Radical. It was either.
I had a vague recollection of it, but
I don't know. I don't know if it was Radical, but there was when I was in college. We went to a couple different studios, and there was one of them that was working. It was the company that was making. So funny.
I think it's the same company that did Fanboy and Chum Chum. If anyone remembers
that. The movie I was thinking of was Romeo and Juliet. He's Patrick Stewart is Bill Shakespeare.
Right.
Which I had no idea.
Right. Yeah, I know. It's a hard. Martin Short is once again in it, which I thought was funny. He's the king's evil king's sidekick. I love all of the core cast comes back for the show. Like I like the mom, the dad, Jimmy.
I mean, they're all there, but do you mean their voices?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, pretty sure it's the.
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
I think it's just the celebrity voice cast that doesn't come back. But
Yeah.
like Rob Paulson as Carl.
Oh, he loves.
Oh my god, he's a phenomenal character. He has so many hilarious lines. Like one of my favorite is where he's doing the.
He's enduring. He's an enduring character.
He's doing the
llamas.
The llamas, but no, he's got the asthma spray. He sprays the aliens in the face with it accidentally. So, you want some? You want some of this? So funny, so very funny. Yeah. Very surprisingly enduring franchise that I absolutely remember watching as a child.
Then it crosses over with Timmy Turner.
It does, yeah. Jordan, do you remember watching this in theaters?
Kind of.
I remember.
It's one of those. It's one of those movies where it's like I definitely remember watching it as a kid, and it was definitely like one where I remember seeing trailers for it and watching all those shorts, and so it's definitely like ingrained in my childhood. I remember watching the show.
Oh, I love the show. The show is
and
so
I remember
much fun.
loving the show. I remember when it crossed over with Fairly Odd Parents. That was a big deal.
I will say, what's funny about this movie is the show. I don't recall the show looking much cheaper than this movie, and that's because the movie looks really cheap. Like really cheap, like to the point that like whenever I watch an animated movie, I always have to be like, is it just because I'm in 2025 and that movie
and my sensibilities have changed?
Not even that my sensibilities have changed, but just that movie came out in 2001 and it's like almost 30 years ago. But you read it and you're like, okay, at the time was the anime like no at the time the animation was cheap. Like contemporarily, like
to be fair, I feel like
the
it
reviews
was like,
for it were that the animation was cheap.
I feel like it was more of a backdoor pilot for the show. Quite frankly,
I think they were. Yeah, they were like, we have something here, and we want this to be a show. And yeah, it does have the vibe of like, yeah, this feels like this is one of those. It's the first 3 episodes of the show that somehow got a theatrical release and has got a budget.
Like it really reminds me, not necessarily. But it really reminds me of that Buzz Lightyear of Star Command movie.
Yeah, except for this went to theaters that had way more money
exactly.
spent towards it.
That's the only difference. But that's just what it makes me think of.
That is Jimmy Neutron.
Jimmy Neutron.
Have you seen? I think it's Jimmy or Carl doing Wrestling with Jimmy. Wrestling with Jimmy.
No.
Oh, it's funny. Never mind. Jimmy Neutron. Jimmy Neutron. James Isaac Neutron.
So my second half scene, I enjoy this movie, is Storks. Which before I talk about Storks, I just want to say, it had voice actors and actresses in it that I didn't realize were in it, which kind of speaks to their skill, I guess. No, Andy Samberg I immediately knew.
Kelsey Grammer is the boss.
Yeah, boss. But no, the one that I didn't realize was in it, I didn't realize that the mom of the little kid is Jennifer Aniston. I also didn't realize that the two wolves, the wolf alpha and wolf beta. I didn't realize that was Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele.
That's funny.
Also, I didn't realize that the big stork who kept the redhead girl was Danny Trejo. Trejo. But I enjoy this movie. So for those who don't know, the best
character in that movie is Pigeon Toady.
How you like me now?
How you like me?
How you like me? How you like me now?
How you like me?
How you like me now? How you like me now? Hagabaga. So future Justin, just put that scene here.
Oh, absolutely. No, it's already in. It's already in.
It's right there.
It's happening. In fact, it's probably already happened.
So over the course of this. This movie is
funny
so
every
silly and
time.
so goofy and so
Oh, it's severely underrated. It
it's
is
oh
legitimately funny. It's
it's
so
really
funny.
funny. The part where the wolves first see the little baby and they're like, "What is it? A small thing."
It's almost
I don't I don't
disarmingly funny. Like
I
it's
don't
like
I don't know what it is, but I love it immediately. Do
I,
you agree? I agree. I agree. I
I
agree.
think it's because it's like any animated movie that's not like DreamWorks or Pixar. You're immediately like, this is probably gonna suck because it usually does, and it's just way better than it has any right to be.
Oh,
It's
it's charming.
genuinely hilarious.
Like
Pigeon that scene
charming.
with Pigeon Toady. I love it all. Oh my! And she just cuts them writhing around on the or
Or every time the boss stork is like, do this and you'll be boss
It's funny every time.
every time.
Every time I hear "How do you like me now," I can't help but
I
do that.
can't help
I
it.
can't help
Oh
it.
no no
Oh no! This is
oh
just
no no!
evolved to just rambling, but it's
Just
if you
wailing.
haven't seen that movie, you don't get it. But it's just so funny. It really is.
Oh,
It's all again genuinely underrated animated movie. Like there should have been at least one more of those. Like the fact that there wasn't at least one more is a travesty.
So of
Genuinely
course,
funny.
so for those who don't know this movie, storks for years delivered babies. Then one of the storks imprinted on one of the kids and fell in love with it, and then failed to deliver it and lost her thing that lets them deliver the babies. And then that baby grew up in the stork place and becomes the red-haired girl who is one of the main characters of the movie and also is hilarious. There's an entire scene where she's locked in, like she's in the
Then it
basement.
becomes Fred Claus, not Fred Claus, Arthur Christmas, but with a baby.
She's in the basement and she's having this whole conversation with different versions of herself, and it's just genuinely funny. Seriously, this movie is on Netflix. If you have Netflix, go watch this
Who
movie
makes
because
this? Who makes this?
uh,
It's not DreamWorks or Disney, right? I'm positive it's not DreamWorks or Disney.
no, where would that be? Directed by? No, written by, produced by, starring, cinematography, edited, music, production company. Here we are. Warner Animation Group and Rat Pack Dune Entertainment
Oh,
and
it's a Warner Brothers movie.
Stoller Global Solutions.
Oh,
So it's distributed by Warner Bros.
It's a Warner Brothers movie. Interesting. Jordan.
Which I guess is why it's kind of more like a, and I think this is why I enjoy it. Thinking retroactively about it, it shares a lot of traits with Looney Tunes.
Yeah. You see why you would say that. You see why you would say that.
Like just a lot of the humor in it. It shares traits with Looney Tunes. So, budget 70 million. Justin, did this do well?
No, it bombed horribly.
Or did ooh? So what's your guess on box office?
I don't know. It bombed horribly.
Guess.
30 million.
Wrong. It made 103.4 million.
All right.
That is not bombing horribly.
It did okay.
It did okay. It did respectably. Is there anything else interesting I can say? LGBTQ representation? Same gender couples.
The gays love it. They should.
Nothing
Everyone should
else
love
really
it.
interesting to say about this. Also, kind of surprised that they never tried to make a sequel from it.
They should have. It was good.
They should have.
It
They
was
still could.
good.
They still could.
They still could.
Yeah, no, I enjoy this movie. Final summation, I enjoy it. Go watch it.
My hand went blurry. Okay.
That's my last tab
Time to
scene.
ruin some childhoods, Jordan. It's time to ruin some childhoods. I mean, unless there aren't a ton of people out there who have fun childhood memories of this movie like I do. Although, if Haley's any indication, there probably is. So when I was a child,
when you were but a
lad, my mother showed me a movie starring Robin Williams. A movie called Jack.
Jack be nimble. Jack be quick.
Jack.
Jack jump over the candlestick.
Okay, you know what, Jordan? Would you like to tell the people what the basic premise of Jack is in one sentence? In one sentence.
In one sentence. In one long run-on sentence.
No, in one concise 5 words or less sentence.
in one incredibly convoluted
Because you
sentence.
could do it. You could do it in like 4 words.
Robin Williams is a 10-year-old who looks like Robin Williams.
Robin Williams is a 10-year-old would have sufficed. Yes, that's what this movie's about. When Robin Williams is when Jack is but a lad, when Jack is a baby, he's first Jack is born like 2 months early, which is weird and a medical marvel. And it turns out that his cells are expanding faster than regular people, which causes him to age. So when he becomes a 10-year-old boy, he's gonna look like, and they say this very specifically, a 40-year-old man. And
So before you go any further, just that makes no sense from a medical standpoint. But okay, keep going.
so yeah, okay. So but my thing is like, okay.
So he's like a reverse. He's like a reverse
he's a
Benjamin
reverse
Button,
Benjamin Button. Yeah, he's a reverse Benjamin Button.
or a normal Benjamin Button.
No, reverse Benjamin Button aged backwards.
Right, but everybody ages forward. So a reverse Benjamin Button would just be a normal person.
I suppose that's true. He gets old really quickly. He ages
Yeah.
faster than everyone else. That's the whole bit. And yeah, you're right, because it's like he starts off as a baby. He's 10. He's 40. So like when was he like a teenager? At age 1?
Was he a teenager when he was like 5?
Like physically a teenager? I mean,
Physically,
Yeah.
was that when he was
I think
5?
he says he started shaving when he was 2. I think is what he said.
How? Babies don't have the cognitive ability to be able to shave. So is he being shaved?
I don't. So that's my number one thing with this. Okay. Let's
It
just go.
just doesn't
Let's just go all
just
the way.
doesn't make any
all
sense.
the way to the beginning, where I used to love this movie as a child. I did. I love this movie. When it gets to the end, I cried. Like it was. I think this is the first movie that made me cry as a child. Like I was like 10. I remember weeping at the end of this movie.
I don't remember having that strong
It
feelings
is
for it.
really schmaltzy. It was one of those like I remember being 10 and like pretending I wasn't crying, but I was definitely crying. Or maybe it was 11 or 12. But I remember this movie. This is like one of the first movies that ever made me cry. One of the few. And like it's so weird because despite having children who were, I'm pretty sure, at least 10 or older by the time, it's like Robin Williams has never met a 10-year-old because he doesn't act like a 10-year-old. He acts like an adult's idea of a 10-year-old, which is like, and all of the kids in this movie are written to be like, they're all supposed to be 10, but they're all written to be more like they're 13 or 14. And there's a lot of really uncomfortable scenes in this movie.
Probably because it would be less uncomfortable and creepy if they were 14, 15.
Well, okay. Like, you obviously accept that, the premise that children do things that they're not supposed to. Like, I was a child, I did things I was not supposed to. But, like, so, a big thing in this that they bond over is, in this movie is, okay, initially, all the kids are freaked out by Robin Williams because he obviously looks like a 40-year-old man. And, he struggles, he wants to go to school, but his parents don't want him to go to school because they're like,
No one's gonna understand.
kids are mean, which is the truth. They are. If you go to school, you're just gonna get bullied and made fun of, and no one's gonna get it, and they're not gonna get this big 10-year-old kid who looks like a 40-year-old man, and it just a lot of the language and a lot of the way he speaks and acts, even before he starts to interact with the other kids, is not like a child. It just feels really adult-like. It's really hard to describe, but he just doesn't read like a 10-year-old because he's Robin Williams.
You see, they could explain that away with a simple line of like the reason why he talks and acts like an adult is because the people around him see him and treat him like an adult, so he's
But they
internalized
don't.
that.
That's the
No,
thing.
but I'm saying like if they had done that or if they had said that or then they could explain that away, but they
In
clearly
order
didn't.
to make the movie less uncomfortable, all the adults treat him like he's 10. Like they, for all intents and purposes, they see a 10-year-old when they look at him. And maybe that's supposed to be the irony of the movie. I don't know. But all of the adults see him as a child, and all the childs see him as an adult. But yeah, there's a major plot point where he eventually, obviously, becomes friends with the kids, and he bonds with them because he can buy them Hustler. That's a reference no one's gonna get. And so there's scenes
Playboy.
of them. Yeah, Playboy. No, that's a reference nobody's gonna get either. Adult
See, kids,
magazines.
back in the day, before there was the internet where you could easily access this kind of stuff, they had these things called
You had to buy
magazines.
a Sports Illustrated from the library because you couldn't get the magazines from the actual. No. So he buys them because he looks like an adult. He buys them this adult material, dirty magazines. But I remember being 10. That wasn't a 10-year-old thing.
That's more like a
That's more like a
13.
13-year-old thing, and it feels like he at one point in the writing of the script he was 13, and they were like, it just feels weird with Robin Williams, or Robin Williams isn't conveying 13. Like, I don't think this movie as a concept, I think it works if you age the character down way more to be like, instead of being 40 he's like 25 and he acts like a 10-year-old and he's interacting with 10-year-olds. It feels less weird.
Or
I haven't even gotten to the weird shit yet.
Or conversely, and this is probably what I would have done, is I would have aged the kids up to like 14 or 15, and I would have aged Robin Williams down, or whoever played that character, down to like at the oldest 30.
Right, yeah. Like, the kids are too young for a lot of what happens in this movie. They're just too young. Like, yeah, it just feels like in order to 13 for at some point that it felt weird. Like the age of the characters and their interactions with Robin Williams. I don't. The thing about this is, why they wanted Robin Williams, but Robin Williams can't do his thing. He doesn't really get to do his thing, his Robin Williams thing, because the fact that he's 10 and he's aging fast is such a major plot point of the movie. So the early parts of the movie are him bonding with the other kids and getting to know the other kids, and he develops a crush on the teacher. And there's a bit where he meets and he pretends to be the principal because the one of the friends is not doing his homework, and so the mom is gonna come meet the principal, and he's like, oh, I haven't been doing my homework, but he's 10. So it's like that's the kind of age where that kind of stuff doesn't really matter. Like, the main teacher is played by Jennifer Lopez, and she has them all writing this big essay that they're writing over the course of the semester that they're going to present at the end of the semester. But again, this might be a case of I'm a Canadian and they're American, and maybe our school systems are just different, but that's not what school was like at 10 years old. Like, it was much simpler than that. You didn't care about letter grades in 4th or 5th grade. Like, you didn't really care about it until 6th grade or 7th grade. 7th grade was really when you started to care about grades.
That could be an example.
Again, that's 12, 13 years old.
That could be an example where American schools are just different. I really can't say. Also, when did this come out? In the 90s?
Yeah, 96.
Could be American schools in the 90s were just a different
So there's
beast.
a plot point, and this is where the shit gets uncomfortable, where they introduce one of Robin Williams' friend's mom, played by Fran Drescher. Do you know who Fran Drescher is?
No.
You know the show The Nanny?
Hold on. How do you spell it?
Fran, Frandr. Just type
Oh,
in
there
The
we go.
Nanny.
Drescher. Yeah. No, Fran Drescher. Okay, yeah, I recognize her.
Yeah, she shows up, and she's the mom of one of Robin Williams' friends, and Robin Williams is pretending to be the principal to get Louis out of trouble, and she's flirting with him and like hitting on him and like being really obvious about the fact that she wants to bang him, and it's really fucking weird because he's 10. He's 10.
Yeah,
Jordan.
so yeah, it's just another
10.
example of like Big.
Yeah,
where
Big, at least in Big, I think he was like 12 or 13, wasn't he?
Something like that.
Like,
It's so weird.
It's at least, yeah, but it's at least 13, 12 or 13. Like, it's weird. It's not. I'm not saying it's not weird, but if you're like, oh, he's 12 or 13, at least he likes girls. Like, at least he's at an age where he likes girls. He's 10. He's 10.
Apparently,
I don't think 10-year-olds sit around. I don't. As a 10-year-old, I never sat around. Maybe someone's gonna be in my
12.
comments being like,
in Big, it's
yeah,
in Big,
okay,
he's
yeah,
12.
okay. That's believable that he might like girls, right? Like, as a 10-year-old, what? And so yeah, so he's like, she's hitting on him, and she's like, oh, I go and I hang out at this bar or whatever, right? And so the movie goes through the movie, whatever, He's bonding with the kids, and he goes to ask Jennifer Lopez, who is his teacher. He asks her to the dance, and she's like, obviously, no, I can't do that for all kinds of reasons. And he's like, well, all the kids, like, you're the only one who looks like me. And
I can't ask one of my classmates
because it would look weird, and it would look bad. And she's like, no, it would be super inappropriate. Absolutely not. And he's like, wow, and he leaves, and he gets all sad. And then like this movie is really Oscar-patory, really Oscar baity, where everyone involved in this thinks they're gonna get an Oscar. Like it's produced by Francis Ford Coppola. Like everyone, this movie clearly thought it was gonna win some awards because he does a bunch of really mopey and he cries and he has a heart attack, and his parents are like, and there's a big disconnect because she's telling him he can't do stuff. And he's like, but I want to do it. And you're like, well, why can't he just do it? And you're like, oh, right, because he's 10. He's 10 and they have legal authority over him as a 10-year-old. He's technically a minor.
Yep.
And so he has a heart attack. And they take him to the hospital, and she's like, basically, they're telling him, oh, he's now going to age faster and more rapid. And they're like, you can't go to school because if you go to school, you're going to die, basically. Something might happen to you. And the entire movie, there's the assignment that they're supposed to write is what they want to be when they get older, or what they want to be when they grow up. And his thing is, I want to be alive. At one point he's like, I want to be alive. He's freaking out about the prospect that he's like, well, what's the point in getting about learning anything, or like at one point, oh yeah, one of the big things, Bill Cosby is in this as the teacher. It's very weird. There's a very weird scene where they're all hanging out in a treehouse.
A different teacher?
Yeah. Well, he's the tutor who taught him before he went to school.
Oh, okay.
So there's a really weird scene where they're all hanging out, and he's like, I have a friend I want to introduce you to. He's like, here's Bill Cosby. And Bill Cosby says, hey. And so he says,
hey. Bill Cosby's here to play.
He starts to become depressed, and he's like, well, what's the point in learning anything when I'm just gonna die in my 20s? Like I won't get to become an adult, so what's the point in learning anything? And it's all these really philosophical questions that, again, a 10-year-old would never ask. Again, unless like maybe 10-year-olds in that position maybe would ask that question. But it's just,
here's what I'll say to that.
It doesn't read as 10.
I don't think that you and I can say what a 10-year-old in that position would say. I think in order to gain insight on, and I'm going to get dark here for a second, in order to gain insight on what a child in that position might say, you'd have to go to a terminal ward.
Sure. Okay. The way Robin Williams performs it doesn't read as a 10-year-old in that position.
That's fair. I'm just saying we can't from our position of having a very comparatively happy and normal childhood say what a child facing the idea of not making it past that age would think.
So for reasons that are totally escaping me at the moment, he winds up at a bar, the bar that Louie's mom had mentioned earlier. And he starts hanging out with Chuck from Better Call Saul. And they start drinking together. And they're getting drunk. And he's drunk. And he's 10.
10-year-old.
And he's 10. He's a 10-year-old kid. I get that he looks like Robin Williams, but he's a 10-year-old kid. It's so uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable. There's all these weird jokes that none of them work because he's 10. And so then, at one point, the Chuck tells him he's talking about this woman, and then he's talking about how he's about to sleep with this woman, and then he just says out of nowhere, he's like, oh yeah, and then I went limp. And he says it exactly like that. There's no euphemism. There's no I went limp. But to be fair to Chuck from Better Call Saul is Michael McCann. He doesn't know that Jack is 10.
He has no idea. Yeah.
He has no clue. But again, it's not reading as Robin Williams is 10. It's reading more like he's 12 or 13. But I think it's a lot of this didn't work. I'm guessing maybe didn't work because of Robin Williams being 40. I don't know why the decision to make him 10, but it's just not. So yeah, so eventually Louis' mom shows up, and Chuck from Better Call Saul is like, yeah, man, I'd like to bang her like a drum. I'd like to plant my seed after I plow those fields, if you know what I mean.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Wink,
Say no
wink,
more.
nudge,
Say no
nudge.
more.
And he goes up to her and he's drunk and he's like, "Ah, I'm just so happy to see someone I recognize." And they start dancing and she tries to make out with him. And it's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, big. It's big, but somehow worse. I don't know. It's worse because like they dance and he's like, no, I can't do it. You're Louis' mom.
It's particularly worse here because, and I don't. Maybe this is just me being pedantic over what does or doesn't make things more inappropriate in this situation. But in Big, he's like magically put into the body of an adult, so it's like at least he's technically in the body of an adult.
Right.
Whereas in this, it's like no, he grew up. He is in his natural body. He is a child.
I get that he looks like Robin Williams, but he
like
is a child. It makes these
like
scenes
Big.
weird and uncomfortable. It's not like Big, where he's a child who's been put into the body of an adult. He is a child who just cosmetically looks like an adult. I mean, no, he is genetically an adult for all intents and purposes. He is physiologically an adult, but he is mentally a child. Like
and people know that he is.
Well, in this instance, she doesn't.
Not
know.
In this instance, but I'm just saying people
doesn't know he's a child.
Unlike in Big, where nobody knows because it was a magic scenario.
But like, what makes it uncomfortable is so I mean, beyond that whole sequence is uncomfortable. I wanted it to end the whole time it was happening. And so then he gets into a fight with some guy in the bar because he starts insulting this guy like a 10-year-old, and the guy clocks him and knocks him clear unconscious. And she takes him home, but she takes him home to his place, and he acts a little weird and mentions that he lives with his parents, and she's constantly trying to get in his pants, and yet she drops him off, and she tries to kiss him again, and you don't really see her again, and you're like, oh, does she ever find out that he's 10? And hard cut to the end of the movie, where I'm gonna do all the stuff that leads up to it in a minute, but I need to mention the end of the movie. The end of the movie hard cuts to 7 years later, and all of them are all 18 now, and they're all graduating from high school, and Jack does a big valedictorian speech. And you see her, and she's there with another guy, with like presumably a new husband that she's met, and she's giving Jack the fuck me eyes. Like at the very least, that's how it's reading. That's like she's like in the audience as he's doing his speech, and she's doing like. Sorry for the audio listeners. I just did a really seductive wave and a wink, like from the audience, and the husband just kind of has a look of like, what the fuck? Like it gives the vibe that like once he became. Like, that maybe they did eventually do. It's weird. Like, there's never a moment where she finds out he's 10 and is like, holy shit, I made out with a 10-year-old. Like, that never happens, and the whole thing is played for laughs, and it's super fucking yucky. It's so yucky. And then after that happens, the entire back half of the movie is, the mom is trying to, like get him to, like, just rediscover his spirit, and he's just really depressed and like all of the kids, there's this really it's kind of a cute scene where all of the kids show up and they knock on the door and they're like Jack's mother, are you there? Can Jack come out to play? And they keep coming back, and she's like, no, Jack doesn't want to come out. And it's really sad, and he's just really mopey and depressed and crying and upset, and it's like you're brought in Robin Williams, but he doesn't get to do the I'm over the top Robin Williams. He's just sad and subdued and depressed and sad about the fact, and he's not really acting like a 10-year-old. He's more acting like a depressed adult, and some of the language he uses is too adult for a 10-year-old, and I just cannot stress how it's weird. And yeah, he eventually comes back to school, and it's really kind of like triumphant moment that's really undercut by this weird. There's a joke earlier where he falls out of his desk because he's too big. He does it again, and all the kids laugh, and it really undercuts the drama of the moment. And then, like, you never here, or I should say, while he's returning, the Louis character is reading the speech about how he wishes Jack would come back because Jack is his best friend. And Jack, even he's the best kind of grown up because even though he looks like a grown up, he has all of the like curiosity of a child, and he doesn't lie to you like a child and or like
like an adult,
like an adult would. And he has this really long, touching speech about how Jack is his best friend or whatever, and yeah, Jack shows up and a hard cut 7 years later, and they're now graduating. And oh yeah, there's also this weird. The parents are in this movie like entirely too much. There's this weird subplot where out of nowhere the dad's like, I know that Jack's probably gonna die young, but
why don't we have another one?
We can always make another one. And she's like, this really isn't the time for this. He's like, well, we did say he was going to be one of like 5. And so then, yeah, it does the hard 7 years later, and he now has a little sister. She's like, the doctors didn't say that this would happen with all of our kids. And yeah, Jack now has like a sister who is aging regularly, and he's an elderly man.
The kid they always wanted.
The kid they always wanted, yeah. And he is now an elderly man, and he gives what I'm guessing was probably because you never see him do his speech in the class, and I'm guessing the speech he does at the end of the movie, because the hard cut to him being an elderly man doesn't really make any sense, because you're like, well, no, based upon his age rate, he appears to be like 70 or 80, or is he like in his 70s or because he's got gray hair and like walks slowly. So he appears to be like in his 70s. So like if he's aging, and they say that he'll age faster now, so he shouldn't have made it to graduation. But like him making it to graduation is never a subplot in the movie. Like that scene feels like the ending of a different movie where we got to see him in high school. So it seems like they initially had him doing the speech as the 10-year-old, but they went, oh, this speech is too adult. For the
10-year-old.
So they needed to add a scene in where he's kind of an adult, but they couldn't have him age to a full grown adult, so they had to have him age to a graduating teenager, because he has this like really long like when you're off doing whatever, look to the sky and think of me and enjoy your lives because I couldn't, so just look up and think of me. That feels like you're like, well, okay, this speech he's making seems like it was maybe meant for like an elementary school graduation where he was gonna die like when he was a teenager, because you're like, wait, so he went through his entire teenagerdom, got older, physically aged into and that specter of like dying young like held over him as the rest of like his entire teenagerdom. It feels like a weird clunky scene. Also, you won't be surprised to find out this movie was not well received. Everyone thought this movie was bad.
No,
it's okay. That's funny you did that. It legit surprised me. I remember this movie being well received when I was a kid. I remember having several conversations with people being like, I like this movie. And I remember loving this movie as a kid. But as an adult, it's a bad movie. It's icky and weird, and just, it would have been better. Yeah, it would have been better if Jack was younger. Like, I don't even think the kids need to be older. I know you said make the kids older. I don't even necessarily... Well, yes, for the writing they do with the penthouse and all the weird... It's written for kids who are just going... It's written for kids who are going through puberty, and I don't know that you need to... This kid I remember doing as a 13-year-old, not as a 10-year-old.
I was going to say, I don't know that you need to age them up to 15, like I said, but I do think they need to be at least 12, 13.
Yeah, 10, 11, 12, 13, yeah, it just... And Robin Williams' character needs to be young. It doesn't need to be Robin Williams. This is not improved by the fact that it's Robin Williams. If anything, it makes it weirder.
I also think that, like, in terms of the kids, you could have also had it be where, like, for example, maybe the main best friend is the same age as Jack, but, like, a couple of them are younger. A couple of them are, like, 12, some are 11, some are 10, like maybe one of them is 10. Like you could have had more of a range in the kids' age group.
It is written, and to be fair, yeah, when you read about this, he agreed to this. This was like post his beef with Disney, and he agreed to do this post that. But it does seem to be written because there's a lot of lines in this where the notion that he looks like an adult is questionable, because there's a conversation he has with a couple of little girls where they go up to him and she's like, are you an adult? Are you a kid? Basically, he's like, yeah, I'm a kid. Are you a kid? And it seems to be like they're unsure as to whether, or there's a lot of lines early on where like, yeah, he looks like an adult, but he's not an adult. Like there's a lot of lines of like, maybe there's like, it seems as though maybe there's a subplot or something early on where it was questionable as to whether or not the kids like actually thought he was an adult. That doesn't work when he's Robin Williams, because he very obviously looks like an adult. So yeah, again, if you aged him down and you cast an actor who was like, who looked young, and but maybe, or like looked like who was on the cusp of like, looked like he was in his 20s and looked like a big kid.
Like a Tom Holland.
Yes, like a Tom Holland, where it was like questionable whether or not he was a kid. Then maybe this works. But even then, the stuff where he's making out with Fran Drescher is weird. I don't know how. It's weird.
Yeah,
it's weird, and the fact that she never finds out he's 10 it makes it weirder for me.
From what you're describing too, like them questioning whether he's a kid, it makes me question if there was a version of this, like an early version of this, where Robin Williams' character wasn't biologically, and this wouldn't necessarily make it better, but wasn't like actually a kid, but like had the mentality of a kid. If that makes any sense.
It doesn't read that way to me, but maybe in an early version of it, it's certainly plausible. From what I understand, the notion was always like, what if an adult looked like a child? What if a child looked like an adult?
And then that's why all the kids would be like, are you a kid? Because he's not technically a kid.
Yeah, well, I think maybe again, it feels like, yeah, like they were going for like more like he still looked like an adult, but it was more questionable.
Or my other thing would be, maybe the original pass of this movie wasn't written with Robin Williams in mind, and then Disney made up with Robin Williams, and we're like, we have him, let's shove him into this.
Pretty much, I think so. I think initially they were maybe if the actor playing the character was more baby faced, this would work for me better.
Like I could see, well, this came out in the 90s. I don't know how old he would have been, but I could have seen like they were writing this for like a Michael J. Fox kind of actor.
But also like then also
like,
him
younger.
pretending to be the principal stuff doesn't necessarily work at that point. But if you have a Michael J. Fox,
that could have been rewritten for Robin Williams' character.
That could have been, but I mean maybe he was like, I want to make out with Fran Drescher because hey man, Fran Drescher at the time of this movie, very hot. So just saying. But yeah, weird. So like I was. This is one of those times where like I was getting upset through this. It's like whenever I used to make TikToks, and I'd be like, why do I do this to myself? Why do I ruin movies I used to like? Like that's what this did. I was like, I used to like this movie. I always enjoyed the bit at the end where he does the speech, and I feel sad, and I didn't even feel that this time because I was so upset about the earlier stuff, and it felt so manipulative. All I could think when I was watching this was like, yeah, the people who made this thought they were gonna win an Oscar. Like that speech Probably. Is like I could just see like there's a really great Lindsay Ellis. That's where I stole the term Oscar-bation from. I stole that from her. But in one of her videos, there's a really funny GIF of someone stroking an Oscar, and with just the words for your consideration splattered across the screen. And when that speech was happening, that's all I could think about was that image of just for your consideration. Like that's what that
awesome.
Felt like. So
that's
weird.
Awesome.
So weird. So weird. So
do you have That's
it for Jack. That's it for Jack.
Okay.
I'm sure Haley's gonna yell at me in the comments. She's gonna be upset with me.
Oh, probably.
Take it away, Edgar, Justin.
So moving on to have not seens. I'm gonna start.
Are not nearly as much fun.
I'm gonna save the awful one for last. So we're gonna start with the better one. I watched Self/Less.
Self/Less.
Which, so Cold Notes version of this movie. Ben Kingsley,
Ben
Kingsley,
Kingsley.
Kingsley,
Kingsley.
Kingsley,
Ben Kingsley.
um, is an old rich businessman, who is dying and
Yeah,
wishes to not be dying.
isn't he only in like the beginning of this movie? I've seen this
He's in the
movie.
first. He's in the first, like, yeah, bit.
I just remember being like
It's mostly a Ryan Reynolds
Russ and
movie.
Ryan Reynolds, right? Yeah, I remember the number one thing about this movie I remember the most is it's a bad body swap movie. Number one, number two, I just remember being like because Ryan Reynolds doesn't even remotely approximate Ben Kingsley like at all.
No, but in my argument of it, because I'm gonna play devil's advocate here.
Interpretation.
No,
Reading?
reading, I guess, sure, but defense of it is more what I'm trying to say. Um, it's kind of explained away insofar of the fact that, um, I guess, spoiler alert for this movie. When the mind gets put into the body, they have to take these pills. And if they don't take these pills, because technically the body that they're being put into is still alive.
Right.
So,
Right. Suppresses the Ryan Reynolds.
So it suppresses the Ryan Reynolds, but it's like it's bleeding through, which is why he's able to do like all the army shit and stuff like that. So my headcanon, if you want, my defense of it, however you want to word it, is the reason why he doesn't try to act like Ben Kingsley, like acting wise, externally. The reason why he doesn't try to act like Ben Kingsley is because in the movie, the Ryan Reynolds original character is bleeding through.
Yeah, I just remember just being like, I think Ben Kingsley is only in the first. Ben Kingsley feels too famous of an actor for only have him in this for like 5 minutes.
It's not 5 minutes, but it's like the first 15.
It's short enough where you're like, he seems too famous for this.
But
You think you'd get him in this more?
I mean, I don't disagree, but it worked, and I enjoyed this movie. I actually had quite a good time with this movie.
I recall liking it.
That could just be because I like Ryan Reynolds. So yeah, for those who don't know, rich guy gets his mind put into Ryan Reynolds' body, so that he can continue to live even though he's dying, and then finds out. And I kind of faded a little bit, but somehow he ends up at the house of the wife of the person whose body he's in.
Oh snap!
And then he finds out that the daughter and the wife and why the husband agreed to this in the first place, and then he's like, I have to protect the family because the people who did the body swap want to take their bodies and let other people take over it. And he's like, no, that's horrible. I didn't know where this body like came from. You told me that you grew it in a lab. If I had known it was a person, I would never have done it. And then the scientist person is like, wouldn't you have? You're a rich, ruthless businessman. I'm calling bullshit on that. And then the rest of the movie happens. They defeat the evil scientist people and kill him, burn him alive. And then the Ben Kingsley stops taking the pills, and Ryan Reynolds is able to live on with his wife, and that's how the movie ends.
Happy ending for everyone except for Ben Kingsley.
I mean, Ben Kingsley agrees to it and, goes in the night, as it were.
As it were.
But yeah, it's fun. I enjoyed it. And not much more to say about this one, I don't think. It had a budget of $26 million. Justin,
50 million.
It made $31.8 million.
No,
did not do well.
Great. No, yeah, this is one of those. I think Ryan Reynolds is like, I'm a serious actor, man. Kind of movies.
Kind of, yeah.
He did a couple of those. There's one. He did another one called where it was. I don't remember what it's called, but it was somebody kidnapped my daughter, and I'm real upset that somebody kidnapped my daughter, and that was basically the whole plot of it.
Interestingly enough, the movie was originally going to come out September 26, 2014 by Film District, but it was delayed to February 27th, 2015 when Focus Features took over distribution to avoid competition with their own The Box Trolls.
Huh. I mean, yeah, to be fair, the box trolls probably needed the help.
Probably.
Or is
Um,
that it for self/less?
self/less. Yeah, I think so. Overall, not bad. Not the worst movie I've ever seen, that's for sure.
Um,
Definitely not as uncomfortable as Jack.
That's funny. No, none of these were as uncomfortable as Jack. So my next
Yeah.
one was a sequel to one I had watched before. I don't know if I've talked about the first one for the show, but I've seen it in my real life, and that's John Wick Chapter 2, second John Wick, and
The John Wickening.
my thing with John Wick, about this movie, is it. Okay, so for those of you, Cole's notes version of John Wick. John Wick is about a movie. First one was about his dog gets killed when some guys try to steal his car, and you think he's this regular guy. Turns out he's this super assassin, and he goes for big revenge, and he kills all the Russian guys, including the guy who stole his car and his dad. And this one picks up kind of pretty immediately after that, where and John Wick is part of a weird what's the word I'm looking for? Not collective, like group of assassins who have
Coalition.
like coalition, I guess, who have these like weird rules. So like there's
Consortium.
there's this hotel that they can go to, that they can stay at, that they can pay for using like these coins or whatever. The I don't remember the name of the hotel, and if they are there, they can't conduct business there, which means they can't fight or shoot or try to kill each other. And through the hotel, you have access to a bunch of different services that all have like hotel names, but it's like there's the consolier or whatever, that is just the gun store. The tailor can make you like bulletproof clothes, and they help you like get equipment and stuff for your missions. So this movie picks up pretty much immediately after the second one, where he's killed all of the Russians as revenge for killing his dog, and he finds the Russian that has his car, the one that got stolen, and he gets it back. And someone, in order to get out of the life, he was given an impossible task by some gangster, and the gangster that, or the assassin or whatever, or mob boss, whatever, that helped him get out, has now returned and is asking him for a favor, because if you give a person, or if you take a marker from a person, then you have to do whatever they ask. If they ask you to do something, you have to do it no matter what. It's part of the deal. And so the guy
It's part of the rule.
The guy
you have to do it. It's super ethereal.
The guy asks John Wick to go kill his sister, because his sister is going to become part of this, like, the council, the evil council of evil, and he wants to be part of the evil council of evil. So he makes John Wick kill his sister. There's a name for it, but that's basically what it is. The collective or whatever.
It works.
So John Wick doesn't want to do it because John Wick is also friends with his sister. But the guy who's in charge, the president of the hotel, is like, no, you have to do it. And so John Wick goes and spends an excruciatingly long time setting up to kill this woman. Where you see him go get armor, guns. You see he eventually shows up in Italy where she lives, and you see him slowly like set all the guns up and like slowly set up for this attack. And it goes on for fucking ever, and it's so slow and it's really boring, and I won't lie, I fell asleep multiple times trying to watch it. See, John Wick fans are gonna get really mad at me. And then finally, this movie is very much, and I don't remember the first one being like this as much, but it's very much a like wait around and see, where it's just you're waiting for forever for a thing to happen. The characters stand around talking about the thing that's gonna happen, and then eventually the thing happens. And I won't lie, like, eventually he goes in and he infiltrates the place where the sister is, and she's like, oh, you're here to kill me, and he's like, yeah. And he's like, you don't have to do that. He's like, no, your brother asked me to. He gave me a mark. And she's like, oh. And then she starts to like take off her clothes and get into a bathtub, and she like slits her wrists. And she's like, oh, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna go out on my own terms. And then he shoots her in the head anyway. And then the next, like, I don't know, it's a while. I'm gonna say 5 minutes, but it might not have been that much. But it's about 5 minutes. Just this really long action sequence of him like escaping and killing just like a parade of people, just like an army of people, just like a plethora of people, if you will.
Plethora of people.
Like, it's just a ton of people getting out, and it's like they chase him through like this open space. He has and then earlier in the movie you saw him like put all of, because he buys a bunch of rifles and a bunch of shotguns, and you see him like hide. So he goes to all the spaces where he hit the. So like it works like he starts off with handguns, and then he eventually gets the rifle, and he has the rifle. And yeah, man, it's cool. And they're excellently choreographed action sequences, and the fight sequences are good, and they look fun. But a lot of it is just waiting around for that shit to happen. And eventually, yeah, he kills the sister, and the sister has a guardian, a protector, whatever, that he's now out for revenge on John Wick, and he's chasing after John Wick, and they get into a big fight. There's a big long fight sequence involving them, and they crash into the hotel, and the guy in charge of the Italian branch of the hotel is like, nah, you're not allowed to fight. And so they're like, why don't you guys go have a drink? And they have a drink, and the guy's like, yeah, because you killed my boss, I had a kind of an affection for her. I'm going to chase after you for forever, and I'm going to try to kill you and everyone who you hold dear, basically. And I'll do it nicely because I respect you, and, you know, we're kind of friends. And John Wick's like, yeah, same, basically. And, yeah, John Wick is just like... he's supposed to be human, but is invulnerable, seemingly, because there's one point he just gets... the guy who's chasing after him, like after this big long fight sequence, it just drives him over with a car and like sends him flying, and he's just walks it off like it's nothing.
Didn't you know, Justin? John Wick is actually secretly John Constantine, and that's why he's immortal.
John Constantine doesn't have super invulnerability though,
but he has magic.
And so yeah, as a result, the girl's like, yeah, if you kill me, my brother's just gonna take over my place and take over New York, and that's a bad thing. And so sure enough, the brother calls a hit on John Wick, and is like, well, John Wick, I had to do that, otherwise, you know, it looked like I let you kill my sister. For appearances, I had to do it. I had to let you take this fall. So then it just kind of becomes the first movie again, where it's all of the assassins are chasing after him purely to facilitate an action sequence where he kills a bunch of guys. And then, yeah, the guy goes to the leader of the hotel, and he's like, oh, you have to stop him. And the guy's like, why? As far as we're concerned, he's done everything he was supposed to. He did what you asked him to, and now he's free. You know, he fulfilled his obligation. And the guy's like, but he's gonna, you know, the guy's like, well, what do you think can happen? You set him free. He's no longer attached to you, and you stabbed him in the back and set him up to be assassinated. What do you think's gonna happen? He's never gonna stop. And so yeah, so the guy, he goes to the hotel, and John wakes up. He's like basically the guy's like, think about this, John. You don't want to do this. And he's like, you can't kill him on the hotel grounds. And then yeah, he shoots him in the head, kills him dead. And
on hotel grounds.
On hotel grounds, and the guy's like, oh, that's bad or whatever. And so then he meets up with John Wick later, and he's like, yeah, because you killed this guy in the hotel, they've expanded this bounty on your head, so they've doubled it, and they've made it international, and I have to excommunicate you from our group, and now everyone will be after you.
The war is on. And
that's where it ends. And I'm like, whoa, that's a brutal cliffhanger if I actually like this movie. No, that's not fair. It's not that, again, I'm going to take a lot of shit from John Wick fans, I'm sure, but just a lot of it was just kind of boring.
They can't give you any more shit than the Andor fans did.
Yeah, they really can't. A lot of it was boring. Like, again, it's not to say that the action sequences weren't really good and really dynamic when they were happening, but again, it's just a lot of waiting for that to happen. and the rules and the world are so weird and convoluted, and they're never explained well. And it does that thing. I don't remember it being explained well in the first movie either. Like what this organization is, why they're so like stringent on their rules and their obligations and their traditions, and there's such a bureaucratic way of how this works. And I just, again, I don't recall the first one explaining it all that well. Maybe I'll have to go back and we'll do a reverse thing where I watch the first one for the show. I just don't remember the first one being explained all that well, and the action is all right. It's pretty good, but it's not good enough to make me forget how bored I was for the rest of it.
That's fair.
That's John
Basically,
Wick.
it's another example and I've said this before about certain movies, but action scenes are only good when the plot carries you forward
Yeah.
through the action
I felt
scenes.
like
Action scenes, just for the sake of action scenes, for me, usually devolve to
they
being
have
boring.
to be really good action sequences, like really good, or like they have to really be doing something interesting. And it's not to say these weren't. I don't know. I just wasn't. I just was bored for a lot of it. And yeah, the world is so weird and convoluted and complicated for reasons that are never really explained. And the body count is so high that like you're like this doesn't interact like a normal crime boss mafia movie would. Like,
Yeah.
like yeah, the body count is like like in like 10 to 20s to the 30s to the 40s, where he's running through everyone going bang 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 bang, and yeah, they look sweet. Like there's a really fun action sequence where he fights this really big Asian guy who he just keeps trying to, but like yeah, like he gets stabbed
Yeah.
several times.
The best thing that I could compare John
It's
Wick
almost
to
cartoonish at a
um,
point.
is in terms of like it had cool action but was boring plot wise. The best thing that I can compare it to is Kill Bill, where it's
Yeah,
like Kill
yeah.
Bill had some really cool action scenes, but just the stuff in
Well,
between so boring.
the only thing I would say is the only distinction I would make is the action in this is actually good, whereas the action in Kill Bill is bad. The action in
I'm
Kill
just
Bill is
saying,
not
and,
very
and
good.
like it's just
This
that's
is
the
really
best
like where
comparison
the
I
action
can
is
think of.
happening. The sequences are really long and they're really interesting and they're really fun. Like that, like yeah, to watch these on YouTube later, sure. But in terms of yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I want to give this franchise another chance, but this is so far. The first one didn't really do much for me either, and this also didn't do anything for me. I really want to give this a chance. I really like Keanu Reeves, and I like this character, and I like a lot of the action sequences, but the surrounding plot is just not very interesting. That's John Wick Chapter 2. Chapter 2.
So, to end out my week, we're gonna end it on a bad note.
On the baddest of notes. Yeah, I was saving what I wanted to say about this because you say what it is first. Say what it is first.
So I watched Saving Bikini Bottom: the Sandy Cheeks movie, which it kind of is. I mean,
See, okay,
um,
my question about this movie, first and foremost. Okay, first, I'm going to say what I want to say about it that I've been holding off on, which is that Steven Hildenberg would be rolling over in his fucking grave if he knew that movie existed. That and the Plankton movie, he would spit in his grave because the number one thing he said when he was alive. Sorry, you know who Steven Hildenberg is, right?
I'm guessing he's the guy who made SpongeBob.
Yes, he's the creator of SpongeBob. No spin-offs. This is number one rule.
Which is where I will say this skirts that.
Yeah.
Because and the reason why I say that, and it feels like this movie. Okay, you know how every now and then you get a movie where it's like this feels like it had like asterisks on like legal notes on like corporate decisions on corporate decisions.
Yeah, for sure.
This screams that. For one thing, I was reading about it. The idea for this, when you remember Sponge Out of Water?
Yes.
When that was in development, there was a few different ideas that were tossed around for what the movie was.
We said that when you were watching it. That this is, I'm pretty sure, is in that same sort of.
I don't know if it's supposed to be in the same, like in the continuity wise. I don't know if it is, but in terms of like development, this idea happened at the same time.
That's why the animation style and art style was exactly the same.
and they shelved it and were basically like, we'll maybe come back to this one day.
Yeah.
Um, but the reason why I say that this like skirts it being a spin-off is because technically speaking, SpongeBob is there the entire time.
Yeah, but
So
it's a
so
Sandy
it's not
Cheeks movie through
it's
and
not
through.
but yes it is, but I can see how technically it's not, because SpongeBob is there and he's a main character and he is like just as much of the main focus as Sandy
Yeah, but
is.
the movie's not about
He's
him.
there every single one of the but it is kind of technically, because the
Meet
entire
her
point of what
family. It's
because
about going to
what the
Galvin,
point
Texas.
yeah, but what the point of the movie is that the bad guy, the bad girl, whatever, wants to clone all of the SpongeBob cast, and SpongeBob is the main feature. She wants to clone them
Yeah,
all and sell them
but
all.
the
So
story and
it's
the plot and all the character development is all about her. Like she is
but
the
that's where I
main
say
focus of
I
that
can
movie.
see I can see where
Like
technically
he's a secondary character in that movie.
technically no.
At least from what I
He's
saw, he was very much a secondary character in that movie.
technically it's her and him. It's like a buddy cop movie. Like it is both of them together. It is him reacting to her crazy family
That's what I'm
scenarios, but
saying.
he is
He's a
very much
secondary character.
but he is very much there just as much as her.
Like
Like
he's the
it's not
second. He's the second.
she
He
she
does not appear to co-lead that movie.
yeah, I would argue that point. Um
But it looks like shit. That we can agree on.
it's a bad movie.
It
It
looks
looks
like
bad. It looks like garbage.
All
It
of those
looks
SpongeBob Netflix movies.
I kept saying as I was
Creator
watching
would
it,
have never approved this.
this looks like a cutscene from a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 3 game.
If
Like
it's
it,
giving straight to DVD vibes, if that was still a thing. Which
I'm
it
pretty
is,
sure
straight,
it was. It was straight to
straight to
Netflix.
streaming. It's straight to Netflix, which is effectively
Same
the same
thing. Um,
But
so
here's my question though to that though: is it bad or did we grow out of SpongeBob?
both?
Because like that's my thing. I'm like I thought SpongeBob was hilarious, and I remember thinking Sponge. I'm gonna have to rewatch Sponge Out of Water because I remember sitting here watching Sponge Out of Water and thinking that movie was the funniest thing I'd ever watched.
Now, did you or were you just really stoned?
I mean, can't it be both?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying that might influence why you enjoyed it
No,
so much.
no. Being high has never
Um,
made movies funnier.
This part of why this doesn't work because it's a spin-off. I never watched, like, even when I was a kid, I never watched SpongeBob and was like, oh yeah, Sandy Cheeks. She's the character I want to watch an entire movie of. Like, she's
I
just
never
not.
asked for a SpongeBob movie. I don't think that character. I think that character works in the 10-minute sections it gets on a television show. And
Yeah,
that's it.
like
A
I
full
don't. And
movie.
even then, I
I
question whether he does.
I remember
But
being like,
I never remember. See, that's where it's funny. I don't.
oh, it's a
I
huge
remember
SpongeBob fan.
I remember SpongeBob being kind of after our time
No,
and not really like
absolutely.
I remember like more enjoying like Danny Phantom,
Oh, no,
Fairly
it's
Odd
full blown.
Parents.
I used to sit and watch
Um,
SpongeBob. I remember being stoked for that first movie. I used to sit on the phone with a friend and we'd watch SpongeBob while on the phone.
I just don't have those same
That
memories.
first season of SpongeBob is one of my all-time favorite. I still think it's
Um,
funny. Those
but
first few
yeah,
seasons are
I mean,
genius
this
shit.
movie. So this movie reveals that San and maybe this is a thing that they say in the show that I just don't remember. But because to be fair, it's been years since I've watched SpongeBob. But you find out that Sandy Scrolls has been working for a science lab from Galveston, Texas, Boots, which stands for
Yeah, I think that was a thing because um
stands for
there's a spin-off that they did
Bureau,
called
Bureau
Camp
Bureau of Official Texas Science.
I think that's a thing. I don't know if that's a thing that came from this or basically there's a spin-off of the show called Camp something or something camp. The concept of it is that they're all kids and they're all at camp and Sandy's on that show. And even though Sandy and SpongeBob never knew each other as kids, And there's a reason for that, because you find out that Sandy went back in time and convinced her kid self to go to the camp or something to that effect. But there's an element of that show that involves Sandy from the future.
Okay.
So that's the show where they introduced the concept of her working for some science lab.
So yeah, anyway, she works for Boots, Bureau of Official Texas Science, which is in Galveston, Texas, which, as an aside, was funny to me because the only reason I know the name Galveston, Texas, is because of that water park that we had looked at the one
Oh
time of
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
going to
Schlitterbahn.
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 But so the Boots people take all of Bikini Bottom, but SpongeBob and Sandy um
Escape.
weren't in Bikini Bottom at the time, and so they don't get kidnapped. And then they end up going to the surface and going to Texas, and then while in Texas, they run into Sandy. Well, first they run into a gang of rattlesnakes, and then uh, Sandy calls her family, and then you find out that her family is a traveling circus. And also, and I didn't realize this because I guess he just doesn't have a voice that's recognizable enough to for me to instantly pick up on it. But one of the cheeks, one of the I think it's supposed to be her brother, um, is played by Johnny Knoxville.
Really?
Yeah.
That is funny.
Um, Craig Robinson is Pod Cheeks. Gray Delisle is Maud Cheeks, Granny Cheeks, Rowdy Cheeks, and Rosy Cheeks.
I just think it was funny when
And
they showed
then-
up and I was like, they're clearly circus folk. You're like, no, they're not. And I'm like, they're clearly circus folk.
No. And then yeah, Randy
He's
Cheeks,
wearing a unitard. He's clearly circus folk.
who I think is her brother, is Johnny Knoxville. And then yeah, they go and then there's
Does he do stunts?
Wanda Sight. I mean, they all do stunts. That's why they're circus
Is he like,
folks.
what did you say the character's name was?
Randy something, Randy, whatever her last
Randy
name
Cheeks.
is.
I'm Randy Cheeks, and welcome to what's a child-friendly version of. I'm Randy Cheeks. Welcome to Donkey Face. Donkey Butt?
I don't think so.
Welcome to Jackass. I almost picked Jackass. I was like, could I talk about Jackass?
I mean, you could.
I might do it for documentary. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I'll
and then
do it for
yeah,
documentary.
so Wanda Sykes plays a woman who is like obsessed with the sea, and it's weird. It's weird. It's weird.
Is it weirder than Jack?
No, but it is
On a
weird.
scale of 1 to Jack, how weird is it?
1 being Jack.
To 10, obviously being Jack is the weirdest.
7,
Really? That's pretty weird.
6, 7. I don't know. I think it's weird. So it's her entire motivation for this, for what she does in this. So I don't know. But her character name, and this should give you an idea of it, is Tsunami.
Oh. Oh, did you feel good about that?
No, I don't.
Did
It
you
was
feel
awful.
good about that?
It's a bad pun.
That didn't feel good. I didn't like that.
But I will say, so there's this one point where basically she has the SpongeBob people who also, the humans just understand the SpongeBob people, which is always weird to me. But
I mean, Jordan,
she ends
don't
up-
judge them. You don't live in a pineapple under the sea.
she ends up putting SpongeBob in the machine, and so basically what the machine does is zaps the in this instance SpongeBob, and then like in Gremlins where it's like the little gremlins pop off the gremlin,
Yes.
the big gremlin, the gizmo, that happens, and like I sent you a small clip of it, and SpongeBob is essentially like, I feel weird, and as he's slowly like melting and breaking apart into like
This sounds
a bunch
upsetting.
of small. It was weirdly upsetting to the point where I'm inclined after we're done this to make you watch the entire scene because it is upsetting. And then yeah, they end up refusing him and it's fine. But like that one part is just kind of upsetting. It's especially for a kids movie. This movie was bad, and I have nothing else to say about it, and I will immediately put it out of my mind and forget I ever watched it.
Until you watch the Plankton one.
If I have to.
For content.
Do I have to?
No.
Okay. So
Yes. Yes, you do.
that's the end of my
Adding
week.
it to the list. I'm kidding. That's it.
That's it. That's all.
All right.
That's the whole shit
So
and
the
caboodle.
final movie of the week, my final J movie, is it's a horror movie from the good old year 2001. It's a movie called Jeepers Creepers, which I'm positive you probably haven't seen.
Wasn't Jeepers Creepers like? Oh no, that's Tales of the Crypt. No, no, I don't think I have.
Jeepers Creepers stars, and this surprised me. It stars Justin Long, and it's like not his. I was like, oh, is this his first movie? No, it's not his first movie. First movie Justin Long was in is Galaxy Quest.
Who is he in Galaxy Quest?
He was the nerd who Tim Allen
Oh,
contacts.
the little kid. Oh, yeah.
Not the little kid, but like
not
the
little
kid, yeah.
kid, but yeah.
Yeah, so in this and I actually appreciated this because usually like these movies are like, oh, it's a guy and his girlfriend, or a girlfriend and her boyfriend or whatever. But the dynamic in this is it's a brother and sister. They are on their way home for some sort of school break, and they happen to see, or they are nearly get run off the road by this crazed guy in a pickup truck. Not pickup truck, but like a truck that says their license plate is beating you. And they're driving along, and they nearly get run off the road by this crazed guy in this truck. And they see that this guy at this truck, they see him at this church, and he is tossing what appears to be a body in a pipe. And Justin Long's like, we should go check that out, and make sure that person's okay. And the sister's like, no, we shouldn't do that. No, absolutely not. And so they go to this. Justin Long convinces her. And earlier in the movie, they had mentioned the truck reminded them of this couple who like had disappeared, and they found her body mutilated, basically. And they go to this church, and they're looking in this pipe to see if they see anything. And the sister drops him into the pipe, and he lands. And he finds a body, and he opens up this body bag that they'd seen this guy toss into this pipe. And it turns out the guy's still alive, and he's got this big stitch down his chest. And his heart, it looks like his heart or his whatever has been removed, and he dies instantly. And Justin Long's like, you gotta go stand by, because they had previously tried to phone for help, but the phone wasn't working because it's a horror movie. And she's like, he's like, go wait by the car, and if you see anyone, flag them down. And if you see the truck come back, run back here and holler, basically. I'm going to try to find my way through the church to get out of here. And he goes through the church, and he sees like the church strewn up on the roof of the church is all these bodies. They're all missing various body parts. And he goes into the church, and he sees that the couple that they had been talking about earlier, the homecoming couple or whatever, that they're there, and they're holding hands, and they see he sees that or one of them still has like the homecoming ring or whatever, and they're somehow still alive. He gets out, and they run away, and the truck, I think the truck chases after them one more time. They end up escaping. They wind up at this diner, and the phone rings, and it's this woman, and this woman's like, you barely escaped. This thing is never gonna stop. And if you hear the song, I don't know if you know the song. The song goes, Jeepers Creepers, how'd you get them peepers? You know that song?
It sounds familiar.
She's like, if you hear that song and you see a bunch of cats, you're in major trouble. And so they wind up getting chased by this guy, kind of in this trench coat, who I can't remember if they wind up at this lady's place, and it turns out she's a crazy cat lady, and this guy attempts to kill her. And up until this point, it just kind of seems like it's a run-of-the-mill serial killer, like a Jason Voorhees style serial killer. And you're like, okay, this is kind of interesting. And you see a bunch of the bodies, and like I said, they're like, he sees the big anecdote about the couple that they talked about earlier was they found her head, and he's all freaked out. He's like, yeah, the head's there, and he for some reason he sewed the head back on. And this lady they run into this. They meet this lady again who had phoned them previously, and she reveals that she's that's what it is. They go to the police thinking that it's a serial killer, and they're telling them that he found this couple, and the police are skeptical because they're like, wait, this couple that disappeared like in the 80s or the 70s or whatever, like that's impossible. Their bodies would be dust by now. Like, there's no way you found them. Like, this is impossible. It's like, I this is what I saw, yada, yada, yada. And this woman showed up, the woman who they talk to on the phone. And the police are like, go away, crazy Jane. You claim to be psychic, but you're not actually psychic, whatever. And she's like, oh, I've been having dreams about this thing. And so it turns out that this thing that chases after them is called the Creeper. And it comes out every 23 years to feed for 23 days on various human body parts. But the bit of it that's confusing is it acts like a person, so it does a lot of, like, there's a lot of moments which are played for laughs. Like, there's a moment where he's like tossing body parts into the truck, and like there's a moment where you just see the back doors of the truck, and then it opens up, and then he tosses a thing in, and it's played for laughs. It's really strange. Like, he's kind of like a monster looking character, but he acts like a human purely to facilitate what the movie clearly thinks is a clever twist, that he's actually a monster. But once the movie reveals that he's a monster, it's boring, because it never really explains
a boring monster.
Right. It doesn't really explain why the monster like sews them back up, or like reassembles the bodies, or because it wants it to look like a regular run-of-the-mill serial killer. And that's the thing a serial killer would do, is it would maintain the bodies as like a trophy. But if it's just that they're like, oh yeah, no, it just wants to eat body parts, but at one point, like, it's chasing after them, and it kills, I can't remember if it's a cop, but it kills something, and it cuts off this guy's head, and it's got the head in its hand, and it's like bringing it towards its face like it's gonna make out with the head, and then it just starts eating the tongue. And
okay, that's weird.
Later in the movie, when the psychic is describing what the thing is, it's like, oh, it needs to eat body parts to survive, so it needs to eat your eyes so it can see, and it needs to eat your heart so it can have a heartbeat, and all this sort of stuff. But so it's like, wait, so why is it eating the tongue then? Or is it eating the tongue so I can talk? Like, the mythology of this is really underexplained and underthought.
Convoluted.
Yeah, it's oddly, and I know I might come back to this for our slasher episode for our Halloween specials, because I want to know if they go into what this thing is kind of more. Because, yeah, it treats it like it's a regular run-of-the-mill serial killer till it just becomes kind of a generic monster. Like, it has kind of a cool design initially. It's got a trench coat and a hat that's really kind of cool looking. But it loses it where it just becomes this monster that chases after it. And it's funny because, like, when I was watching it, I'm like, man, Jason Long feels too famous for this. But then I was like, no, he became famous after this. So he started off as just like, you know how when you watch a horror movie and you have like all of the B actors who are in a horror movie who are not famous. Yeah. This is like, he goes off of this. He's one of those actors, and he goes off to become famous.
That's funny.
And so you find out, big twist. You find out that the psychic who has really weird, accurate information about the Creeper, but they want you to question whether or not she's actually psychic. So she's like, yeah, one of you, him or the sister, is gonna die. And the movie tries to make you think that it's gonna be the sister, even though it's really obvious from the beginning it's gonna be Justin Long, because he's the one who falls in the hole. He's the one who sees everything. And yeah, it ends with, she's like, oh, take me instead. And there's all these scenes of it like chasing after him, and he's holding Justin Long. And then just out of nowhere, he has wings, and he flies off with Justin Long in his arms, and it cuts to him in this dark room, like cutting apart and slicing and dicing Justin Long as he sings that song. It's really weird, and it's really weird and underexplained. Like, yeah, it becomes it becomes uninteresting once you find out that it's just a generic. Like, it really just kind of reminded me of that episode of Supernatural, where it's they're feeding the townsfolk are feeding it to the creature. I thought that was going to be the twist, that the police were like feeding it, and that doesn't even come up. Again, just dull. I will say, there's certain elements of it that I were like, okay, yeah, this is kind of different, like the brother and sister dynamic of it. As far as slashers go, it is, at least it's not like a generic like serial killer, but also, like, I don't know, it being a monster is just kind of, yeah, like I say, dull, boring, kind of a boring twist, and that the movie thinks is clever. But clearly people love this movie because there's 4 sequels.
A lot of sequels.
Yeah, which I'm probably going to watch them for our slasher flick. When we do our
all
slasher
of them?
I think so. Yeah, in October, coming in October. That's it. That's Jeepers Creepers. That's the end. I might as well hint at this now, but yeah, I think we're gonna bring back Spooky of the Moment podcast. But I think I'm gonna change up the episodes. Spooky. Four Halloween themed episodes for the month of October, but they're gonna be different this time.
Ooh, different.
We're probably gonna do slasher bad guys. I want to do a zombie episode.
Please don't make me watch 3 more Terrifier movies.
I'm not gonna make you watch 3 more, unless inexplicably Terrifier 4 happens to come out this year. That's the only one I would make you watch. But I want to do like gnarly hardcore Saw style stuff again. I do want to do that. But maybe not. I don't know.
I this time around have to put limits on it, Justin. I have limits now. I have limits.
I kind of want, maybe not. I might fold it into another episode because I kind of want to rewatch Terrifier 3.
Nope, not doing it.
I'm not gonna make you do it, but I wanna rewatch it without the kids being there and seeing if that makes me feel differently about it. Thus far, my favorite one of those is still the first one. But no, I'm not gonna make you rewatch it unless you opt to. You're welcome to opt to. But I haven't decided. The only one I know for sure I want to do is a zombie episode, where we talk about zombies and zombie adjacent media. So that's coming in October. But next week, we talked about it earlier in the show. I was gonna do not zombies. I was gonna do dinosaurs, but I changed my mind. I changed my mind yesterday. It's gonna be a Netflix special. So we're doing it. It's another Netflix special, but this is the rule. Your have not seens have to be Netflix originals.
Okay.
And if you can muster the have seens as Netflix originals as well, I will do that. Anything else, all the rapid fires just has to be on Netflix. It's all on Netflix. It's all Netflix.
I'll have to take a look at their Netflix originals and see if we can wrangle those out.
But the have not seens they can't, stuff you've seen we haven't already talked about on the show. But
I mean, if possible.
But the have not seens have to be Netflix originals. That's the one thing.
I understand.
I know. I want to do. Yeah, I'm going to talk about K-pop Demon Hunters. That's definitely going to be one of them. I had the second one, but it's completely left my mind, and I'm really hoping when I look over it over the list later today that I'll be able to remind myself, because I had 2 and I cannot remember what the second one is. But what definitely is going to be K-pop Demon Hunters. That much I know for sure. But that's next week. That's next week's show. Jordan, where can the people find you? I have to wrap this up.
I do Zethgore 187 Twitch, Zethgore 187 on Twitch. I do Minecraft Mondays. Also on the weekends, I'm here.
I am on the weekends. I'm also here, and every other day I'm sometimes on TikTok at Justin Spurr. We, as the show, are on TikTok. Spur of the Moment P. You can email the show. It's justinsbusiness@gmail.com if you want to talk to us about anything at all. That's a good place to get a hold of us. You can join the Discord. You can join the Patreon. Jordan, you know what? Jordan, let me ask you this question as we wrap this up. How many videos a week? What should people do? That was it. That was the question. What should people do, Jordan?
Subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, Jordan, because, Jordan, how many videos a week do we put out?
1 every day.
1 every single day, including the new podcast on Sundays. Jordan, if they click the box on the left, that's probably going to have popped up or is popped up currently, where will that take them?
To a video to watch?
Which is last week's episode. What was last week's episode, Jordan?
Last week. Oh, that was last week. Last week was... What was last week?
It was Pick an Actress 2, Jordan. If you want to see
Right,
Pick an Actress Part 2, the entire 4-hour part episode, you can click that there. If you want to see a random video that YouTube thinks you're going to enjoy, you can click the box on the right. Look forward to 6 videos about letter movies. Definitely there's going to be a video about Jack probably on Monday. It's coming out on Monday for sure. Definitely. Check those out. Like those. Again, hit subscribe if you haven't already. We will see you all next week. Have a good day, everybody.